players will be loyalty.
Definitely.
And thank you for helping me get to 1K, especially since we combo travel.
That's all right, man. Test, test. I'm good, man. You? I am extremely pleased, to be honest. Um, I had us finishing fourth, and to me, top of the league right now in January. I'm extremely happy. I have nothing to complain about. The only thing I can say I can complain about is the amount of injuries we have. But outside of that, that's it. That is it. How
Yeah,
are you?
I'm doing good, man. As I said, if you told me a couple months ago, Borough we're going to be first in January, I'd be telling me you're bullshitting. But we're somehow first. We're first. I thought Arsenal, when Arsenal got in front, I was like, oh no, we're probably going to get third or fourth or fifth or whatever. But we're first. Somehow we're first. And we've got a big game tomorrow. Hopefully go 5 points clear again of Arsenal. Of course, it'd be two ahead of City because City got a game in hand. Is it Sheffield or Brentford the game in hand?
I think it is Brentford, if I'm not mistaken. I can check right now.
I think it might be Brentford. I'm not
I
too
think
sure.
it is Brentford.
Because I think they've got Burnley next. I think City have got Burnley
Yeah.
next.
Yes. They got Burnley, yes. Yes, next, correct.
Yeah, so lot of craziness this season so far. We've had just like in 2021 we had no centre backs. This season for some part we've had no left backs.
No left back, no right back.
Yeah, so now we've got no senior left backs available, no senior right backs available because Bradley, I wouldn't call him senior because he was on loan in Bolton last season. So
Yep.
well, the same issue, but Bradley looks like the real deal. What's your thoughts been on Bradley so far? Do you think can you see Bradley being kept in the first team? Because obviously we've had so many wonder kid right backs. We've had Keanu who left, then Nico Williams who left. Do you think Bradley could be the one that actually stays on?
I actually do. I mean, watching him the last two games that he's played, the kid doesn't look out of place at all. He is sound defensively, can't be bullied off the ball. Yeah, he's probably not as offensive minded as Trent and our Joey is, but defensively, he's stellar. But he can still put in an offensive shift as well because he did get an assist in the last game we played, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 games ago. Came in and got an assist for us. I actually like the kid. I think he can stay on and be a good cover for Trent. To be honest, I don't think we need to really look at placing him. But if we want to get even better, I mean, we could look at going elsewhere and getting another right back. I was shouting for Frimpong from Leverkusen to be behind Trent. But now I'm questioning if to just leave the right back position with Bradley there altogether and just have Joey there filling in because Joey's clearly shown that he can cover 3 different positions. He can cover center back, he can cover left back, he can cover right back. So he's a good utility player, and he's been playing stellar. Joey's had a really good bounce back year as well, to be honest.
I said this to Drifty in the watch along later. I said that I really, really do hope Gomez gets a goal because the guy's been wanting ages to get a goal. He's been so close, like so close. Like against United, nearly scored. Against Arsenal, nearly scored.
Yep. He's been very. It's gonna come though. He's gonna get a goal. He's gonna get it.
I would love it if we won tomorrow 2-0, for example, and the second was Joe Gomez finally getting the goal.
I like that show. It's funny you said 2-0. We just did our preview show a couple hours ago, and that was my prediction. Clean sheet, 2-0. Joey scoring would be immense.
I've got 3-1. I've got a sneaky feeling bloody Solanke's gonna score against us, of course.
Why do you think so?
I just have a sneaky feeling that just Solanke will just want to score against his old club for some weird reason. It's just the vibe. I don't think we're going to play badly. All I want is, I don't want like the Newcastle game where we walk away, no one gives us any credit and goes, Liverpool, it's Liverpool robbed Newcastle. I want a game where people go, I hate Liverpool, but fair play, they're playing really, really well. I just hate when it's controversy because then no one gives us any credit, because I still believe even if Jota didn't do what he did, we still win the game. Newcastle did barely anything.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I've tired of the agendas too as well myself. I don't think Solanke's going to score, and there's my whole rationale behind that. I mean, Solanke's been having a stellar season. Is he actually loves to have the ball to his feet? He's not a threat in the air. He doesn't go after balls in the air, which has been our Achilles heel most of the season. We're not really good at set plays, and he's not really a threat that way. He loves the ball to his feet, and I don't think he would be a threat for Ibu and Virgil, because I think that's going to be our center back pairing for tomorrow is Virgil and Ibu. So I think they're going to handle him if the ball stays on the floor, and then in the air he can't outmuscle either one of them. So that's why I don't give them a chance to have a goal tomorrow, but I could be wrong, but I still think it's going to be a clean sheet.
No, but I'm the same as you. I really would love a clean sheet because I would love a champion's performance tomorrow and just go showing that we're not slowing down. We don't look like we're going to lose, because realistically now, I think if we come out tomorrow, Fulham, Norwich. I think Norwich will. I'm not going to discount Norwich because we know with the magic of the FA Cup, there's always a shock in the FA Cup. I'm not going to say anything about that and jinx us. But if we go into our games and then go beat Chelsea, beat Arsenal, I think we've got to be taken seriously, because we've gone in a very tough patch going into winning against, drawing against Arsenal, drawing against Man United. I guess both games were not as good. I think the Arsenal one was much better. And then going on to beating Arsenal at their home in the FA Cup, even though we were crap. But we also said, yeah, we may be crap, but we can defend, and also we're more clinical. So even though Arsenal have had most of the chances, when we do get 2 chances, we put them away. And that's what counts. So I think if we go into that and then beat Chelsea and Arsenal, we've been given the hardest games in January and gone out there unscathed, top of the league. And you never know, City could drop more points. And then the only thing is, the only way I'm going to sit here and say we're going to win the league is if we did up a gap, because we've seen this Man City again and again and again do this. I am not going to fall for it again. But the problem is with me is that, yes, they have De Bruyne and others will play, but they have one player that influenced a lot of these comebacks, and that was Gundogan. Gundogan was the reason they came back against Villa.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, 100%. I'm a little bit different than you. I'm actually saying we're going to win the league.
I hope so. I really do.
I've said it. We're in for the quad. I'm calling it. I'm saying we're going to get the quad this year finally. And I can get clip up later on this season. Who knows? But I put in my full confidence in the team. Yes, you're right. We do have two tough Prem games coming up after Bournemouth. Well, call three because I'm not putting any shade on Bournemouth. They've been in form for the last
And I
month and
think
a
they're the
half.
second most informed team after us.
Yes, agreed, 100%. And they're playing very well at home. So we get past them Sunday. We've got Chelsea, which we know is always a dogfight. It's last how many years has been draw city between the two teams. Nothing's changed. And then we got Arsenal after that. I mean, but after we get past these three games, I mean, our schedule is not bad at all. I mean, you've got Burnley, Brentford, Luton, Nottingham before we face City at Anfield.
Yeah,
So
and yeah, I agree with you.
so it's not gonna be easy, and the injuries is not going to help. But I don't put excuses on injuries. That's why you have a squad. Next man up. We have to get the other guys to step up and pitch in and help until we get our first team players back, and then I think in doing that, and these younger players coming in and growing into the team in the first team because of an injury situation is only going to benefit them, and it's only going to make us stronger. Because I've said that in terms of squad depth for the entire Prem, City technically used to have the best squad depth team in every team in the Prem. This year, in my opinion, I think it's Liverpool that has the best squad depth. Because with the amount of injuries that we've had so far, we've still been able to press on and still been able to get results because of the squad depth. If we didn't have the squad depth and had this injury crisis, I don't know where we would be right now, to be honest.
100%. And, you know, I've seen Tottenham fans claim, you know, that they've had, they're not on the title race because of injuries. But, you know, yes, Tottenham have had their centre-backs out, but they've not been in a situation. They've played full-back as centre-back. We had to play Henderson and Fabinho we played Fabinho and I swear we played Fabinho and Henderson as a defensive pair versus Man City away, and we somehow got away with a draw.
Yeah, agreed.
Tottenham,
Agreed.
you know, Tottenham have had injuries after injuries after injuries, but the thing is, I believe no matter what we've Klopp this season, no matter what team we put out, even if it's half under 23s, we will still play the same way. Just like with De Zerbi at Brighton, but McAllister and Caicedo, they don't look any different. It's the only problem is their defence. That's let them astray at the moment.
Yeah, and Ange is sticking to his laurels as well, right? Ange has a system and a way he wants to play, and he's sticking to it. It doesn't matter if he goes 10 players down, 9 players down, he is sticking to his philosophy. And that's good on him for doing it. I mean, they say rock and roll football, he's taking a lot of chances, but it shows that Tottenham has actually a true identity. Unfortunately, some other teams, Chelsea, United, they don't have an identity. You don't know how they're playing, what they're playing. You're just a point, game in, game out. Tottenham's at least has a system and intends to stick with that system and to get results, and they're doing well. They're doing well. I can't knock them at all. Ange is doing a good job.
He's doing a really, really good job, and I think I'm. Oh my god! Let me just mute this. Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job, and the thing is, I just don't get sometimes like I understand he wants to stick to his laws, but sometimes I still think doing a high line versus 9 with 9 men is a disaster. Like we did it the right way. We just got caught lacking at the end. And it was really, really, really unlucky.
Very unlucky. Two different ways to approach it, right? Klopp approached it right with 9 players, pack in the box, let nothing come through the middle, and we nearly saw it out. But Ange, in turn, keep playing a high line, and Chelsea just absolutely opened them up like a tin of sardines, bro. Cooked them.
If it wasn't for how bad Nicholas Jackson was, it really could have been 9 or 8.
Easily. Yeah, they missed a lot of chances. I got a question for you, bro. How many games this season, or can you pinpoint games this season that you thought we should have, that hurts your head? Because there's 3 of them that actually kills my head right now to this day that I can stick out right now. Is there any 3 in particular?
Like what, just angry in general about just the way where we played?
The way that the result ended.
Number 1, we all know what it is, Tottenham way, because of the biggest robbery of the season in football history. Second one, I'd probably go Man United, because that one is just, every shot is from 40 yards, and like there's games where I say, have a shot from long range, because test the keeper. But that game, we were just taking shots from, like, we were just shooting whenever we saw the keeper. And I think that game, if we had taken a bit more time to try and get the goal, we would have gotten the goal. We were just trying so much to score. We were shooting from anywhere, and that's how we got nearly 40 shots. Because you were just taking them from absolutely everywhere and not where we really need to. And that's what I think got us. That one, Arsenal as well, because I think, again, there was a penalty decision in that one. And talking about other games that I thought, I'd probably say Brighton as well. Brighton was the one that annoyed me as well. Because it's just, Brighton.
There's 3 for me.
Go on.
And I am not counting Spurs. I'm not even counting United in my 3. Brighton's my first one. Gravenberch missing an open goal.
Oh my God, I don't know how we didn't score that.
That should have been a win instead of a draw. That's the first. Luton. We missed
Luton.
So many open goals that we should have beaten those guys 7-2 comfortably, right? And the third one's Arsenal. Trent hitting the crossbar.
I can't believe I forgot about Luton.
This is what I'm telling everyone. I'm like, we don't even have to get to the Spurs game. We don't even have to go to the United game, far or anything. 3 games, we had wide open nets to win those 3 games comfortably. That's 6 extra points. Instead of now we're sitting 2 points ahead of City, we're now 8 points clear of City.
That's what, like, I remember I wasn't watching the Luton game because actually I was doing I play for a football team here in, because I actually live in Brighton because that's where I went for university. So I play for a football team in Brighton, which is all about mental health and helping your mental health. So we do sessions each week where just loads of people play football together. It's like playing with your friends and having fun. But every so often we do games against other charity teams, or we just do our own tournaments. And we were doing a tournament called the Ultra Cup. And basically the idea was, because there were so many people who wanted to play, so we did 4 different colours of our team. I think white, red, blue, and we were playing. And I was on team white, and we were playing at the exact same time as Leon. And I remember constantly after I come off the bench checking the phone. It's like no enough because and then I'm on the sideline about to come on, and then my friend Lee goes, "Oh my God, Luna scored!" I'm like, "Oh, for God's sake!" I'm like, "Keep me updated" and stuff like that. And then I remember him shouting "fuck" quite loudly, and I was like, I'm pretty sure we scored. And then I was like, I felt so bummed out after that. I was just like, I remember, was it 18-19? We do a lot of games like Leicester. We drew, which killed us off. 20, was it the 21-22? There were a few games in there as well we drew.
Mm-hmm.
That if we had won, we won a league. What do you remember? Do you remember any games in particular that season?
In 21-22, we drew a lot of games to the bottom 3 teams.
Oh, Oh yeah. I'm trying to think. Who was bottom
Our
three?
record against the bottom three was abysmal in 21, 20, 22.
Who
We didn't win much.
Who got relegated that season? 21, 22.
Pull it up right now.
So Bournemouth, Watford, Bournemouth. No, I don't think we drew to what. I don't think we drew to
I think
Watford.
was there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me have a look. Table 21, 22. No, we beat Norwich, we beat Watford, we beat Burnley. I'm trying to think who we drew against. Oh yes, I remember now. 3-3 against Brentford. That one was really annoying.
Yep, that's one.
Did we draw against Wolves? No. Oh no, and didn't we lose to West Ham? 3-2.
We lost to some bottom feeders, so I can tell you right now who it was. Come on, guys, give me my. Oh, that season. What? Yeah, Watford. It was Watford, Burnley, and Norwich is who went down that season. In 21, 22.
I'm going back to have a look. I really am intrigued in who. That's too far back. Okay. That's it. No, yeah, we drew to Man City twice. We drew to Brentford. Of course, beat Man United. Brighton was a bogey team for us all the time. We lost to West Ham. Of course, we beat these teams. Beat Newcastle, Tottenham 2-2. That one where Kane should have got sent off.
Yes, we drew both games with Tottenham.
And the game for me that hurt the most was losing to Leicester, where Salah missed a penalty and we were all over them.
Yes. We beat Villa.
Like, just those little things. 2 more points and we win the league.
Yep.
Like, we were so unlucky because that season, if it wasn't for Courtois and a little bit, I take a little bit of Gerrard because he took Coutinho off when he was doing some really good things against City and he completely threw the game plan apart. We could have, City won the treble last season. If we had won the quadruple, no one is ever, I don't think ever doing the quadruple. But if, as you say, if we do it this season, even though it is Europa League, you will never, if people will say it's not the quadruple, but I still don't think you will see an English club, if we do league title, the 2 domestic cups, European Cup. It's not been done. Never been done. And we're the closest in history to do it.
Yep, it's very true. But they're going to be those shameless fans that are going to say something, obviously. But the reality is, it's never been done. Never been done. Yeah, we drew to Chelsea, I think, both games that season, too. 2-2 was the last round. Oh, we had some bad draws. The Leicester one hurt us big time. I agree with you.
That one was so
That one
annoying.
hurt.
I'm trying to think of some
That
other
season.
ones.
But again, it's us taking games by the scruff of its neck and pulling out results. It's all on us.
That's what I hear about that season. Oh, and no, the one that really hurt as well is the 1-1 Tottenham draw, because that one was. We always do it when City drop points. We go, no, we're not going to bother. Like, City had drawn to West Ham. If we had won that game, we're title favourites. But of course we drew, and as soon as we drew, people were like, "Oh, Liverpool aren't going to capitalise on Man City," and that's when I knew we weren't going. I knew on the last day we weren't going to win the league, because I just had this feeling, and I thought no chance Villa would win. Of course, the Villa nowadays, I think if they had the Villa now against that Man City team, I think we do win the league. Because I've never, ever seen a team in the Premier League dominate Man City like that before.
Yep. Agreed.
Pep got schooled by Unai Emery. Like, proper schooled.
He did. 100%. Oh, man. If we could... But hey, that's in the past, right? We got to make sure that we're drawing too much games this season. That is another issue. We need to stop drawing so many games. We really do. We really, really do.
Like, I know a lot of people are going to say, like I have before about the Tottenham, and I guess, like, I know the Tottenham stuff happened. We all know that. But we can say the reason we're not clear is because of Tottenham, but the reason we're also not clear is because of Luton, Brighton, and all these other games. Brighton, Arsenal as well. Man United, I think Ten Hag is awful, but I do think he put the right game plan because he kind of knows Liverpool, low block, crap. He's like, I'm going to put a low block, and it really worked. But also, the low block also didn't work because, as I said, we were shooting from absolutely every department except at goal.
Yeah.
And Man United, I don't know what you think, Bajan, but for me, Man United had the more clear-cut chances than us because we were just shooting from everywhere. They actually shot from better positions when we were just shooting from everywhere, thinking Onana was gonna, Onana has been done many times, but Onana's been done a lot more from close range and long range.
Yes, agreed. They came in with a game plan. Park the bus. They know we struggle against low block, and it's not this season. We struggle against low block for the last 7-8 years. From Klopp's tenure in Liverpool, a low block always causes problems. I don't know what it is. I don't
know either.
But it's mind-boggling that we cannot break down a low block. We cannot do it, and I don't know why. The only season that we really handled low blocks was our title-winning season. That was it. Where we scrapped out a lot of games. If you go back and look at that season, there's a lot of games we won by 1 goal. We came back to win in the direst minutes of a game. Villa, for example, we scored 2. Robertson header and then Mane with the back of his head.
I remember that. I remember that game.
Right? So many games we scruffed out to win the game and actually get points. We have to get back to that level, even if it's a low block that we're going up against. We have to keep going at it. We have to. And there's so many, like, I remember 19, there was so many. There was Origi Everton, Newcastle, Origi as well. 21, 22, Origi against Wolves. That's why sometimes, even though, he's been crap at Milan and bad at Forest, I do miss him sometimes because even though he's been crap everywhere, he is the definition of clutch. Even when he's playing bad, when you bring him on, he will do it. And I really do think that maybe something like if we had Origi and you brought Origi on against Luton, you never know, he could have maybe won the game. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we really do miss Origi sometimes.
The important thing for us is that we have to cut down our draws. If you study it, every year that we've lost the title to City, we've had a lot of draws.
Mm-hmm.
In 18-19, we had 7 draws to their 2. They lost 4 times. We lost once. We had 7 draws. We lost the league by a point. You look at our title winning season. We only had 3 draws that entire year. We had 3 losses, but we had 3 draws the entire year. We were winning games, mostly. That's what the difference is. You look at the quad season.
Mm-hmm.
We had 8 draws. 2 losses, but 8 draws.
Yeah.
And this year we have how many draws this year? 6 already? 6 draws already. That's where the problem is. Games that we should not have been drawing, we drew. So we go back to my comment earlier. Brighton, Luton, Arsenal. That's 3 draws that we should have won.
Yeah.
We'd be on 16 wins right now. It's a big difference.
But that's the thing is, just let's say there's 2 games you change. Let's say we won against Tottenham. We got a draw against Tottenham. And then we beat Luton. That's 4 more points. That puts us on 9, plus the fact to have 3 points. That mean would be 6 points ahead of Man City right now.
Yeah.
Including the game in hand. So just 2 game changes that, and you add Bayern onto that, you go 9. So that is what worries me. And as you said, you know, for me, I always said, for me, what matters about winning the league this season is this transfer window. And I don't know if we're going to do anything, and I really do hope we do something. The first one, of course, is this is not happening in January whatsoever, but this is about summer. Chelsea are in. See, they're getting looked at same as Manchester City with FFP and that kind of stuff, and they might have to sell a player. And we were all over Levi Colwill last summer. Last summer. With the room, would you take Levi in summer for cheap? Let's say 40.
You know Chelsea's not going to sell him for cheap to us.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Right? Would you take Colwill right now? Colwill has not been good this season.
No, he's been bad.
I would say no. I wouldn't. I'd rather bring in Hincapié instead of Colwill, to be honest.
For me, it's difficult because Colwill's not really a player that you sit on the bench. He's an expensive player. He doesn't get ahead of Virgil. Doesn't get ahead of Canade. And I believe Kwanzaa is the better youngster. So he doesn't get. For me, the type of centre back I'll be going in summer is someone like Inacio. He's more the
Inacio's another one too. Yeah, exactly. Left side centre back, right? Left side. So you could even play games with Inacio on the left side, and you have your back 4. He's starting as a left back, but then when Trent inverts, now you go to a back 3 with Inacio, Virgil, and Konate. Your defense is very strong. Now you got Trent pushing up into the midfield.
And I think with the age, I think with the age as well, we've got to start looking at who's going to be the Virgil replacement. And the problem is right now, I can't think of any centre backs right now in the world who would be that replacement. There's some players I like, but I don't think the players ambition. You've got Antonio Silva of Benfica, but I think he's right centre back. Can you think of any left-sided centre backs? And you go, he would be a good Virgil replacement, or would you put the trust into Kwanzaa being the Virgil replacement and move you to left centre back?
To be honest, I like Kwanzaa. I like what he's doing. I think he's stellar. I think he's got a high ceiling on him. Inacio is a shout because he's a left-sided center back. He is a shout, but he's going to need game times.
Yeah.
Hincapié from Leverkusen is a shout as well.
Yeah.
Outside of those two, do you take a chance on De Ligt from Bayern because he's not happy, but he's more right-sided center back?
De Ligt's a player I do really like. I loved him so much when he was at Ajax. I thought he was a beast, and I just think with Bayern Munich, I think it's not worked out because for some reason all the Bayern managers are obsessed with Upamecano.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's Tuchel though. To be honest, he Upamecano, he's good, but I don't think he's that good.
No, like he's a bit like Maguire, but he's Maguire's that. See, I'm half English, but I'm also half French, and my national team since I've been little has been France. So, for my country, for example, Upamecano has been a beast. He was a beast in the World Cup. He played really, really, really good. But I think he also was a beast because he was next to his old teammate from Leipzig, Canate. So they have that partnership since they've been smaller. So there was a connection there. But when he's at Bayern, he just makes so many mistakes. And I think De Ligt, Kim Min-jae would be a solid centre-back pairing.
Agreed.
How old is De Ligt now? Do you know how old De Ligt is?
If I am not mistaken, De Ligt is, I think he is 26.
Oh, 24. That's even younger than I thought.
24. Yeah, 24. So he's still young. 24.
Yeah, there's some really good centre backs out there. There's even though there's zero chance of happening because it's a player from down the road, but Branthwaite from Everton, he is a baller.
Yes, he's playing very well. Yes,
agreed. De Ligt, I would love to have De Ligt, but for me, I think maybe they are looking at Henkapi as the Van Dijk replacement. But Henkapi, I think this season has been playing a lot as a left back.
Yes.
Or Gamalda further upfield.
Yes. Yeah. He's been doing very, very well. There's this youngster out of Club Nacional, Uruguay. Izquierdo?
Name rings a bell.
He seems to be an up and coming. He's actually on a lot of people's list right now. He's on a free transfer too.
That should be something we'll maybe have a look at.
Yeah, he's
trying to think. I can't think of any more. But also what I was gonna ask is go on.
I don't think there's gonna be a lot of movement in this January.
No,
to be honest.
no. Like the only club that's been really won has been Tottenham. Tottenham's been the only one doing anything, but I guess they forced to be because of the injury situation. Newcastle can't do anything because of FFP, so they're in a tricky situation as well. I think.
And now Trippier just agreed in terms.
Oh yeah, Bayern.
Verbally terms with Bayern.
I think they're working on Mukiele, but I think that'd be a good move for him because I do think Trippier Bayern would work quite well with Kane and stuff. But
yeah. And
I think it'd work good for Newcastle as well because they can make Livramento the first choice right back, and for me, Livramento works better for Newcastle because every game I've seen him play for Newcastle, Livramento, he is an absolute baller.
Yes, he is, 100%. But the problem is that I saw a tweet from Kendall the other today. I think Livramento is hurt. I think he's injured.
Oh yes, who would they play right back then? That's the problem. The thing is, their only first choice left back is a centre back, Dan Burn, or they've got a midfield like a hybrid, which is a mid. What's his name? He played for Chelsea. He came from Chelsea. Lewis Hall, midfield plus left back.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a huge problem. So I can't. What I think is if they got rid of Trippier, they probably have to get rid of Trippier, sell one player, and then use the money to get a right back. But I can't think of any right backs out there right now that could get Newcastle, because Newcastle, even though they were in the Champions League and stuff like that, they have all the money in the world, but because of FFP, they can't spend more than what they've earned, and they've already spent quite a bit of money in Bruno Guimaraes, in Isaac. I think they're gonna have to sell. There's another player. If they're forced to sell a player, and Bruno Guimaraes is on transfer next season, would you sign him?
Yes.
I think you work quite well in that CDM position.
I agree. I like the dog in him, to be honest. I mean, sometimes he's wild with it and he's reckless. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I would take Bruno. There's 2 players off of Newcastle that I would actually take, 3 off of them right now. Botman, Guimaraes, and Isak would be the 3 I would take off of them.
Yeah. I remember when it was 2021 when we had all the injury causes, and me and a couple other YouTubers at the time were saying, we were talking about Sven Botman when he's at Lille, and we were linked to him and we didn't get him. And you look at him now, you may be like, maybe we should have gone in for him, because I think he would have stayed at the club. Because he looks like a stellar defender. Isak, for me, I think Isak at Liverpool would have cooked heavily. Another player that I really like as well, which is interesting, which I want to ask you a question about, which I saw from German sources. Would you sign Joshua Kimmich this summer if you had the chance?
He's going to be pricey. Like his talent, solid footballer. I think he would play well under Klopp's system. Yeah, I would. What about you?
I would. The problem is, it's really hard to find right now a proper CDM. There's one CDM I really like, and I've got a friend who's in my football club, and he's like obsessed with La Liga. And there's one player he's told me that he think would work really well for Liverpool, and that's from Real Sociedad, Zubamendi.
Okay, I can't say I know who it is.
He says he thinks he's like a much younger, more attacking, less attacking kind of player of Rodri. Very, 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 very good. But he said that he's not going to go in January, probably go in the summer. Asking other players, or are there any players in particular you're looking at for the CDM position that you think you would like us to go for in the future?
I wanted Andre from Fluminense, but I don't know what's happening there. I think he would have been immense for Liverpool, but honestly, I don't know if Klopp's looking for a destroyer anymore. Maybe we already have our CDM in the wings in Bajcetic. Because Bajcetic, a lot of people think that he's injured, but in fact, he's not injured. He's being kept out because he's still going through some growing pains, the same thing Stevie G had in his early part of his career. Do you know how tall Bajcetic is now, Jersey?
Has he got much taller now?
Last season, he was 5'11". He's 6'3" and a half now.
We're cooking up something now.
He's close to the same height as Virgil at CDM with his skill set. And remember, he naturally is a center back, not even a CDM. That's his natural position as a center back. So I don't know if Klopp's actually going to look to fill that position. I think he's just going to go with what he has and maybe look to bolster other areas, which is of more pressing concern right now for him. I don't think he's looking for a destroyer anymore like Fab. I really don't, which is why I think they're out of the Andre sweepstakes altogether, because they would have taken Andre in the summer, but he wanted to stay with his team because he wanted to win that trophy for the first time for Fluminense, which they did. And he promised the coach that he wouldn't leave until the end of the season, which I respect him being a man of his word. And we went and we turned away from it, and we decided not to go back. I thought he would have been it, but Klopp's making me change my mind that we're looking for a destroyer. I think he's just looking for a forward, a CDM that can play sound defensively, but also look for forward passes and be advanced as a CDM. So that kind of like what Rodri does. Same thing, very similar. I think is what he's looking for. Something around those molds. You want to hear something? Transfer rumors got it right now. It looks like Divock Origi is heading to the MLS.
I do think that's the kind of good thing for him, because I really do think that it's not worked at Forest, it's not worked in Milan. I think he's got to go. I think it's time for him to go to a league where it's a bit more calmer and he can just do what he wants. Because I just think that he's not the player he was anymore. And plus, he's also, he only worked for us when he was an impact player. And I think in the MLS, he might be a player that can work. You can start games, because Forest is not starting. Because Chris Wood is much better than Origi. He's been balling this season, Chris Wood.
He's playing very well again today.
Yeah, great header today. Ivan Toney's another one as well. Great free kick by Ivan Toney.
Ivan Toney's one that going in December. What a game you and Drifty did today. What a back and forth game compared to that.
10 goals. 10 goals. Luck of having received 10 goals. That was amazing. And I thought that Brentford game, every goal was good. There were no tap-ins. Yeah. Every goal was a banger.
Yeah, agreed.
The next one is, of course, the thing that keeps coming up, and I will never believe it till I see it with my own eyes, is the story. Because I know his mum loves us. I know that it keeps coming up in the media, but I, to this day, will still believe that he's going to Real Madrid and Mbappe. But there's a little problem with that as well, is that Mbappe has made it clear he doesn't want to play as a striker, but Real Madrid already have the best left winger in the world in Vinicius, one of the best right wingers in the world in Rodrigo. Mbappe is the only way Mbappe gets in our team is if he plays up top. So if he goes to Madrid, he's going to play that. But genuinely, if he comes to Liverpool, he gets straight in that left wing position.
Yeah, because that's the hole right now. Because Diaz isn't doing it properly over there. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be beneficial for Diaz to move over into the right wing position and be covered for Mo, instead of having to play game in, game out to get his confidence back up and so forth. I think Diaz starts on the right tomorrow, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Mbappe coming to Liverpool in the summer to play on the left wing. Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I'm still up in the air. I just don't know. I don't foresee it. If it happens, it's going to be a madness. But I don't see it. I see him going to Real Madrid. I really do. That whole Jude debacle this summer really, once Real Madrid's involved in the equation and talks,
yeah,
I just don't even bother anymore.
Because we were never in those talks. Like, I think we talked to the entourage and stuff of Bellingham, and I genuinely still believe this day. My dad believes he rejected us. I genuinely believe he didn't reject us, but we left before Madrid got involved and that kind of stuff. And I believe they got some sort of involved, but I think we believed, because the aspect of it, we were like, the price has gone up for Jude. And I think before the whole season started, they were like, Jude's like the final piece in the puzzle. And then when we came into the summer, they're like, "Oh, we need more than Jude. We can't do this. If we, I'll tell you right now, if this season we had Jude in midfield, and not done the midfield problem, I think we'd be back to 5th, 6th. Because even though I know Jude's working really well this season, Jude's working really well because he's playing in a free roam 9, kind of false 9 position. Yes. I don't think he'd be doing it for us because he'd be an 8. I think he'd score an assist, but he wouldn't be doing what he's doing now for Real Madrid, because in Real Madrid they don't have a striker, so they play Jude as the the false one with Vinicius and Rodrigo as the two up top. So I think if we had that and you could see no one rated Endo. No one. Most people also were saying, "What the fuck are we doing?" Including myself. But my dad was the first one when I told him we're going Endo. He's like, "I think Klopp's got a plan," and Endo for me has been our best midfielder this season for me. Every game except Palace and Toulouse, he's looked to me like the man who's orchestrating our midfield.
I'm a little bit different. Endo for me is second best. For me, Curtis Jones has been our best.
Oh no, yeah, I forgot. I think they've been quite level, but over the years, so many people disrespected Jones. I still remember the first time I saw him, that goal against Everton in the FA Cup. That
top bins one.
Probably that's the most top bins goal, because if it's a centimetre higher, it's coming off the crossbar. So
yes,
that for me.
Right in the V, right in the corner, dead spot in the corner.
Yeah, I know. Made Pickford in his tiny arms. It was probably the best goal to score. And I remember that game. We showed that game why Everton will always be second to us, because we played our C team. Everton couldn't do anything, and they had their first team out. We had our C team, and our C team dominated their first team.
Yeah. Yep.
And the only time Everton ever beat us at Anfield in like however long was when there were no fans, we had no defenders, and they got a shabby penalty because Calvert-Lewin wasn't looking where he was running, and he kind of tripped over someone. Like, it wasn't like a leg out or anything. He was just lying on the floor and he fell over him. That's just tripping. That's not a penalty. And that's the only reason. That's the only reason they won. So Jones, for me, this season, on the way he's been playing, for me, he has to stay in that midfield. For me, when Szoboszlai comes back on Endo, you can go maybe Endo or McAllister in midfield. Szoboszlai, but for me, Jones has to stay left in that left centre mid. He can't move. Unless he starts playing cup again, then yeah. But I think we've got to start rewarding these players. Like, for me, if the way we're playing right now, even though I know Robbo and Simica come back, if it keeps going the way it is, I would not drop Joe Gomez, because every game he looks better and better and better, and on form he's been playing better at left back than Robertson this season.
I had the same argument with Rasta Crab on our channel, and I asked the question when this is when Simicast was playing brilliantly after getting a form of a run and came into his own and was playing really well. I said, Robertson comes back from injury. Does he go right back into the starting 11, or does he have to earn his spot again? And he thought Robertson should just go right back there. And my argument was, I think it sends the wrong message. If you've got a player that is in form and playing superbly in that position, tough luck that you got injured. You have to work yourself back to win that position back over again. And that's why I agree with your statement. Joey G is playing so well right now at left back. I would not slot Robertson right back into the starting. He has to earn that spot again. He has to. He can't just get it. No.
And of course, he's got no fitness. He's not played for like 2 months. He's got no fitness. So for me, you play him in. If we beat Norwich, who we've got next? Hopefully it's non-league or lower league and stuff like that. Because I'm tired of getting bloody Arsenal and. Yeah. So we got those games, but for me, if we beat Norwich in the next round, I'm hoping we get something a bit more calmer, so we can put a lower league, more rotated team out. And if we do that, then you play Robertson, and then you get Robertson to game fitness. So for me, generally against Arsenal, Chelsea, I'm playing Joe Gomez there, because Joe Gomez had Arsenal's Saka in his pocket.
Yes, he did, 100%.
So, you know, it sends, as I said, it sends the wrong message.
Going to Leeds? Did you hear about that?
Where would you see this?
looking at transfer market right now. Looks like possibly Calvin Ramsey could be joining Leeds. That must be a loan. It's probably a loan deal.
Leeds may move to sign fullback on loan. I think that'd be a good move for them because I don't think they're left. I don't know, but I don't know who's our right back for them. I think their more left back is Ailing, and this guy's like really old now.
I think he just left too, Leeds. Ailing.
Or did he?
Yeah.
Well, who's? I'm gonna have a look. Who's?
Channel.
Keep going.
I was listening to KG's channel and I heard him mentioning that Ailing was leaving Leeds.
Okay, their right back is they're playing a midfielder right back. The player we were linked with before, Archie Gray. They're playing him a right back.
Decore may be leaving Everton for Al Ettifaq. Really?
That'd be huge for Everton, because I think he's their best midfielder. Decore.
I agree with you.
If they lose their best midfielder to Steven Gerrard, that's going to hurt. So Everton have been found to be crying. They've had 10-point deduction. They've got potentially 2 more charges. One right now. They might get another 10-point deduction. And I genuinely believe if they get another 10-point deduction, they're going down. Because they're too far gone. I think if that happens, they're going down. And those two... And plus their best player, stolen by Steven Gerrard, is a red. Everton are just cursed. And I genuinely do believe it. Everton get relegated, we will not see them back up in the Premier League for 4 to 5 years. Because that club is so destroyed from top to bottom and disorganised. Their owners, their new owners haven't even acquired the whole club yet. And apparently I've seen that they've been accused of kidnapping and trafficking and that kind of stuff. I'm like, it's a disaster class. And I think if they go down, a lot of their big players are going to want to go. You look at Dan Juma's already looking to leave already. Calvert-Lewin, to be fair, I think Calvert-Lewin is championship level anyway, so he can stay there. But players like Harrison, I think Harrison is on loan. He could go back. He's a good player. James Garner is another good player over there. Mikalenko could leave. I think Banthwaite straight away leaves to a bigger club because I think he's got potential to play for West Ham, Man United, that kind of stuff. He's got that high level. They will just be left empty. Pickford will leave. They'll have nothing. And I genuinely believe, just like Leeds right now are in the mix. Leicester, they've lost everything, but they still look really good. But they've got a lot of players on loan and stuff like that. So I think Leicester aren't the same. But I genuinely believe, unlike Leicester, Southampton, that kind of stuff, I think if Everton go down, it will ruin the club. Because I've seen a guy, I think he's called Blue Mike or something, and he mentioned that he believes that if Everton go down, the club will go to administration. And obviously, I don't want to see that because I like the rivalry and that kind of stuff. But it would genuinely be funny to see them in the Championship with their new stadium because they'd want the exact same thing to happen to us if we were in that situation.
Listen, I called at the beginning of the year Everton to be relegated. So I'm just sick. You know what? I couldn't stand Everton when I was growing up as a boy. I know the rivalry was heavy between them and Liverpool. My distaste for them got worse when that particular game when Pickford took out Van Dijk and then
oh my God, I still remember
Richarlison took out Thiago. And then on top of that, they ruled off Hendo's goal for the game winner offside when Mane was not offside. My distaste for that team after that went to a different level, and I can care less about it. They can be out elite. I won't miss it. Sucks to not have a derby, but I don't care. I don't want to see them in the league.
No, yeah. Like for me, it's all over the place. Like that game, like what was it? Was it his elbow or was it his toenail that they claimed it was offside?
Toenail.
You can't. That's just that's for me. I genuinely believe if it's that much, just give it onside because it's that much. I think if it's like you can see half his foot is offside, then I say fair enough. But it was like I still remember one of the other games of offside was so you got the Tottenham one, but the other one I really didn't like was the Aston Villa game you're talking about. They drew the lines for the Firmino goal, but the lines weren't even straight. They were like diagonal. And it was that's the game that made me hate David. Was it David Coote or was it David Coote? And David Coote, someone found his Facebook where he's at Old Trafford.
No, David Coote, Simon Hooper, Turney. I can't stand the three of those referees. I hate them. Can't stand them. They're terrible. They're incompetent. The three of them. I like referees that call it down the middle. Yes, you may miss one call or the other. But when you've got a referee that every time they go up against a particular team, they call the same crap and they call stupidness every single time, there's an agenda there. And I think it takes the credibility and the integrity out of the game. So it's why I've been shouting all season for we've had issues with VAR, not Liverpool. Every team.
Yeah, everyone.
And I have said the only way for you to fix this issue is you need to take VAR away from the referees because there's a boys' club. The VAR is going to protect their buddies and their mates that's on the pitch because they go drinking together. Their mates, they're going to protect them so they don't look bad. And you need to put VAR squarely in the hands of an independent group, analysts that knows the rules of the Prem and are going to stick to the rules and just decipher the footage and tell you if you've made a mistake or you haven't. That is the only way we're going to see a lot more credibility and better decisions happening in the EPL. Until they do that, we are all going to go through this issue together.
100% because, I love talking about the Tottenham game and wind up I love doing it because I like winding up my Tottenham mates and telling them, they're in a false position right now and stuff like that. But they love saying, so after that happened, one of my Tottenham fans kept going up to me saying, so Henry, do you want to replay the game? And I tell him I'm not letting him win, so I just ignored him. But there's been a lot of decisions this season I've seen. Like there was one time, I think it was Brentford. I think it was the other game of Brentford v Forest this season, and Matt Turner clearly takes out a Brentford player, and it's not a penalty. Even though I hate Man United in that 2-0 win, Romero handballs clearly the ball, not given as a penalty. Wolves, Man United, Onana punches the guy in the face.
Well, he body checks him. He did a flying body press, man. He was back from Jimmy Superfly snooker days.
There's so many decisions from our rivals. I don't like as always. Manchester City did one where Akanji was offside, and they gave that onside, and then another team does it, and that's disallowed. So Man United had the same thing happen to them against Crystal Palace and they lost 1-0. I think even if that was not given, I think Palace still get a goal because they were rubbish, Man United. But
Rodri getting pulled down into the box by a shirt, they called penalty, but we see that every weekend with Mo and they don't call penalties.
I don't get it. There was another one as well where
Odegaard playing Kyrie Irving in the box, basketball, putting the ball through his legs and stuff. Nothing.
Garnacho versus Arsenal. I thought that was too tight to call offside. This, every club, even our rivals, they've all been shafted. I genuinely think the worst team this season to be shafted by VAR is not us. It's Wolves. So many games I've seen Wolves get robbed, and I'm like, wow, Because I think for me, I can think 2 big decisions, probably 3, but the third one is I'm just not clarifying the rules, and I think it's Gross versus when he, pulled the shirt and he should have got a red card, stopping a goal opportunity. I don't know if that is a red in the law, but I thought that looked like a red. I think we've had 2. Wolves, I think they've had nearly won every game. And I don't know what's going on over there. We have the best league. The best league, the best players, worlds. And I've said this for ages. I want a separate team. Don't get Premier League referees to VAR. Get a separate team. They just train on VAR and they get people who don't like football. And they just like their job, and they have no preferences. They will just do their job. But we have people with agendas. Like, people used to say Mike Dean has children, a Liverpool fan. No, he doesn't. And also, he's a Tranmere fan. I don't think Tranmere like Liverpool. So, or Tranmere and Liverpool, I don't think there's any bad connection there, I meant. So,
yeah, it's mad.
now, big up Liverpool 12th, man. How are you doing, man? I've been seeing your cool stream concept you were doing. You're muted. I think you're muted. I think if see if you can change your settings in video. Maybe you've got the wrong mic. Speak.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Okay. Got you. Got to change it. I got you. Yes. Thank you for having me. I know. I apologize. We had a really cool little concept game where it was like basically we took the Liverpool team, the starting 11, and basically we took took 10 top teams in Europe, and you could pick one player to swap from that team to our team. So, for instance, we had Bayesian Angel representing for the Bayesian Reds crew, so we made sure that that they got the proper representation. They ended up switching out, for instance, Nunez for Kubo at striker, which is very interesting. But something like that. So that was so when Real Sociedad came in, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We let the chat get their picks in too. So the chat got their own team. It's gonna be fun. But I really wanted to be a part of this. I told people hopefully they followed me over here to your channel, because I definitely gave the shout out, and definitely interested to hear what you guys are chopping up.
Really do appreciate it, man. I've been taking a big break because obviously I've been away to the USA to do some music stuff. So I haven't been around to do any Liverpool stuff. But now I'm going proper serious with it. And I thought I'd do transfer stuff because obviously there's been a lot of talk about Levi Colwill last summer, and now it's coming up again for next year. Me and Bayesian talked about it. We both said that we wouldn't take Levi because Kwanzaa's the better player and Levi doesn't get in, and I don't think he's a backup player. He's a player you play right now. Would you get Levi if he's let's say he's expensive, but not ridiculously expensive. Let's say 50, 60.
Yeah. So I know that originally they were trying to get 60 million for him. I don't think he's a 60 million pound player. I know Chelsea is in need of making room on their books, and what helps out Chelsea on their books is that Colwill, being an academy player, ends up being everything that you make off of him is profit, so you don't have to do a plus minus when it comes to bringing in a player or selling the player. At least when it comes to their books. So it all depends on what the price is going to be. It all depends on the price. If we can get a cut rate deal for 30 million, yes, I'm bringing in Colwill, to be honest with you. It ends up bringing in a homegrown player. It ends up being a selection where we could arguably say that we have two players in Kwanzaa and Colwill being the next, perennial center back pairing for the future, you know. So I would make that deal if the price is right. I don't know if you had that show over there in England or not, but
I think we've had something similar to that in the past. I can't remember what it was called though. But no, we've had shows of that. But for me, Levi Colwill, I like Levi Colwill, but I think this season, I think what Poch has been doing at Chelsea, it's all over the place. He doesn't know how to do his team properly. Caicedo, looks 2 times worse than Endo this season. Endo looks like... If you tell me right now who looks the £115 million player, I'll be telling you it's Wataru Endo. Caicedo looks like he was 12 million from Stuttgart. Not Caicedo.
Agreed.
Hey, Endo outperformed the other £100 million player when they faced off. To tell you the truth, in my opinion,
Rice. Yep.
I've people say to me, Rice. How many Arsenal fans I've seen say the reason Trent didn't score was because of Rice? He didn't score because he shot too hard, not because of Rice. Rice had no impact. I think the only thing Rice impact he had was Rice stopped Salah taking the shot. But Trent, in that position, still should be able to score.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, with Rice, what's funny? I'm not saying that Rice I'm not saying that Endo on paper is a better player than Rice is. But what I am saying is that Endo for our team right at the current moment is a really substantial selection by LFC. I think he's worked out. He's made a lot of people, second guess, if not have to, take a knee and apologize primarily for saying some of the harsh things they've said about our Japanese warrior. But I was one of the few people that was very high on Endo, to be honest with you, Alex. And I was someone that I kind of saw what they were doing with what FSG was doing when they picked up Endo, and that is getting a player that fits the role as opposed to trying to pick a player that defines the role or makes the role something of what it's not, and makes the role themselves, which is define the role. But yeah.
No, I do agree, and also got to ask. Of course, the Mbappe stuff's come back up again. The thing is, I think he'll go to Madrid, but there's a huge problem with that. And a huge problem I have with that is that, yes, he could go to Madrid, but he's said multiple times behind the scenes that he doesn't want to play as a striker. But he does not start a left wing because Vinicius is better in that position. He does not start a right wing because he's not a right winger.
And wait, I want to make sure I heard that right. You say Vinicius Jr. is a better left wing than Mbappe?
No. I'm saying that I reckon that Vinicius for me in the Real Madrid system suits, because Vinicius can't play right wing. He can't play striker. He only can play one position, and you can't drop Vinicius from this Madrid team. That's the big problem.
Trust me, I ran into that for my selections on my on the little game show thing I did. So yeah, they're really going to run into a lot of issues with trying to figure out where Mbappe fits into Real Madrid without making some of their other superstars not happy.
And that's the huge problem, and that's why I really do think it would be amazing. It'd be really, really, really would be amazing if they could get Mbappe, but he'd only play one position. And I think if he comes to Madrid, he's going to be forced to play the striker position and stuff like that. But if he comes to Liverpool, he comes straight into left wing, and he plays his natural position. So he's got a decision to make. And obviously, I really want to get Mbappe because, you know, every time I watch him for my country, France, he's amazing. And I've watched him at PSG, Monaco. He's ridiculous footballer, and I think he'd cook for Klopp. But even if it's a free transfer, the wages are so expensive.
Yes. That's something. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You go for it. I completely forgot what I was going to say. So you go for it.
All I was going to add to that was, or at least one thing I was going to add to that was, you're absolutely right. He makes 1.384 million euros. I think it's euros.
Yeah, euros.
In France. So he makes 1.3. I know it's around there. 1.38 something. Might be 7 or 4. But let's just say it's 4. So he makes close to. Even if you were to take €1 million off of his salary, his wages, okay, you're still looking at a player that makes 384,000 euros. You know, he's still one of the highest. You know, he would still be one of the highest. He'd be the highest on our wage book at 384,000 euros. He'd be the highest paid player on our wage book. So it's one of those things where, like, is Mbappe going to take a pay cut like that? I don't think so, to be honest with you.
And also you've got to take into account that a lot of our players are going to be going, I've been here forever, where's my pay raise? Why am I not at the same wages as him? And then
we're coming up across that. We're coming up against that.
Yeah.
Look, VVD, how FSG has set it up, VVD, Trent, and I want to say Salah as well, all come up for renewal at the same time. That's a major. All three of those players will demand or can demand healthy pay increases, especially if you're saying you're going to be bringing in Mbappe and you want to make the wages competitive.
100%, and that's what the issue comes in with Kylian is. I would love Kylian, but you've got to take that into account. And I think Kylian only comes in if like, I could see a scenario where the only season it comes in is where we go into this summer in July. Al Ittihad come back and go, we'll pay £100 million for Salah now, and then Klopp and Salah go, it's the right time. He's been here for a long time. He's getting a bit, you know, he's still amazing, but you can clearly see he's slowing down a bit. He goes over there, and that's when the only scenario I can see us getting Mbappe, because then you've got Mbappe off the wage books, and then you can get Mbappe as the replacement, and then convert Lucho as the right winger, or make Elliot a right winger, even though I think Elliot for us has worked better as a centre midfielder. So that's what you're going to look at. So for me, I personally think Mbappe to Liverpool will never happen. And I think he'll go to Madrid and he will be forced to play attacker. And I think either way, I think as an attacker, as a striker, he would do well for Madrid. Because they really do need that sometimes.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can certainly agree with that. And it's something where I think that the unique thing about what you said, and I think the unique thing that people have to keep in mind, that is that, you know, the general audience out there, that I can't emphasize this enough. Whenever you get into these conversations, a lot of times people don't want to be accountants. People don't want to, you know, run across how does FFP work, or profitability, sustainability, all that kind of stuff work. People don't necessarily want to go into tactics. So where are we going to play him, and what's he going to be accepting of? You know, it also gets to the point where you have to go up against a player like himself. He's going to want to go to a place that he wants to live. You know, ultimately he wants, you want to go to a place that you want to be, that's going to be your home for however long you plan on staying there at the club. So all those factors weigh into a lot of the decision making for these high priced stars. And unlike on FIFA or the video games that we play, a lot more of those factors get heavily weighed in when you're going to have a player making the decision, because they have a say in it. It's going to make it's going to play into a factor of whether they choose your club or not. And there's a lot of things that are playing. There's a lot of things that separate and definitely eliminate teams from the running right from the very beginning. And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of selection Mbappe ends up making for himself, especially if it ends up being a free. If he ends up going out on a free, he completely holds all the cards then.
100%. Next one, of course, is: do you personally think we will make a signing in January? Do you think we'll make a signing this month?
I think that we will only make a January window signing if it is. This is only my opinion, obviously, but I believe, and I'm behind it too. I fully accept and am in agreement with this tact of thinking. I know on a couple of different comment sections and such, I've gotten attacked for my take, but I think that it's not a bad take in that only way we make a January signing is if we go for a player that we already had as a choice. And the only reason why we're going for him now is because either the opportunity is just too good to pass up, or it's one of those cases like a Diaz where another team has gotten involved in the pursuit of him, and they're saying either you make the decision now or this player goes elsewhere. So unless it's like a Diaz situation, or unless it's like a Cody Gakpo situation where you have a player that is just too good to pass up on, it's just not that time for us, I think.
Listen, 100% agree with what you're saying, because I can't think of anyone out there in January that you could get. Like CDM, there's not really any options out there. And I think Endo's done so well and McAllister's looked better that I'd rather go with what we have for there. The only concern for me, as I said, is centre-back, because Joe Gomez, for me, has shown enough to me that his career as centre-back is finished. He is a good full-back. For me, very good left-back, very good right-back. For me, he should be one of the Liverpool full-backs, not play centre-back. So that means, because he's at the position now, we need to have a centre-back, because right now, if Virgil gets injured, it's Kwanzaa Gomez, and we have to play Owen Becker left-back. And that's a problem. Even though I rate Owen Beck, this is a big moment for him, and I don't want to be forcing a youngster in that situation.
Right.
So it's a bit of a difficult situation.
So I know that you keep your eye on a lot of what's going on. Have we moved Ramsey on to another loan team yet, or is he?
No, but apparently there's rumours that Leeds have inquired. And I think that could be maybe a good move for him going to Leeds, because at the moment Leeds are playing a midfielder at right back, Archie Gray, which is another player we've been linked with.
Need of a right back.
Yeah, because Ayling moved on last season, so they obviously need a right back. And then
and is that and you're cool and comfortable with that because you don't think Ramsey is ready to play?
I don't think Ramsey's ready. For me, I think right now, the player that's shown me enough that he's good enough to be right back, starting right back or backup right back, is Connor Bradley. Like, every game I've seen this kid, he is absolutely amazing. Like, he was the best player for Bolton last season for a reason.
Okay.
So he was the best player, and for me, any position I'll really go for if we go January is probably centre back, and maybe one more attacker, but that's not going to happen. So I think right now I would get another centre back because of my concern like that. Because
I have a question for you then.
Go on.
So So I know also this, like I like to get the reads of content creators on some of the takes I have, because I know how the comment section takes on some of my.
Yeah.
They're ready and they're always ready and willing to give their 2 cents when it comes to my takes. But I'll offer you 2 players then, and they're relatively affordable players, as in they're going to be like 50 million, 60 million, if not 40 million possibly. You might be able to get them for, but most likely 60 million, 50 to 60 million. You said you wanted a center back, right?
Yeah.
Would you go for De Ligt, who plays on Bayern Munich at the moment right now?
I literally was talking with the Bajan earlier, and I said yes, I would.
Okay.
Definitely, because Ajax he was balling
brutally. I got attacked brutally in the comments, not on a channel, on a comment section about that take. So I just wanted to know if I'm alone.
No, I will take him every day. He's a baller. Yeah. He's a baller. It's the only reason he's not been playing is because for some weird reason, Tuchel prefers Upamecano. And even though I love Upamecano for how good he was for us in the World Cup, he's a bit like Maguire, not that good for club. When it comes to international debut, turns up. I think for me, De Ligt and Kim Min-jae would be a very, very good centre-back partnership, but for some reason, he doesn't do that. For me, as me and Beijing were talking about, who do we see could be a replacement for Virgil when he gets older and retires? And one of the names was De Ligt, because De Ligt plays left centre-back. He's also from the same country that Van Dijk. Yep. So that could work as well. But the other names that came up were Inacio and I can't remember the other one. But what's the next player you had in mind?
The next player that I would suggest then. So this is the next person. Not necessarily. I don't know if it's. I think he would be number 1 on my board if I was making a board of picks. The next player is and he can be gotten for a release deal, because every player in Spain has a release deal, release clause in their contract. The player I'm looking at, and since you already understood and come to appreciate the underappreciated country of Japan, I would say Kubo. Would you go out and pick up Kubo?
What position does he play? Is he Real Sociedad, right?
Real Sociedad. He was formerly with Real Madrid. Real Madrid allowed him to go on loan to Real Sociedad. Real Madrid does have a buyback, I believe, clause possibly involved in there, but I don't know if that necessarily overrides. I don't know if they have like a that overrides if he gets picked up or gets an offer. If they get an offer from another team, if they get first dibs or not on that. But he is on Real Sociedad. He's a 60 million euros release clause. So for 60 million, you could possibly have a 22-year-old right wing / left wing backup, and also play striker too.
So because for me, even though I've rated him in the past, this season, Diaz has not looked good.
He's having an absolute standout season for himself.
Yeah, and
this is possibly one of his best seasons that he's had.
For me, Diaz, right? I rate Diaz, but for me, Diaz this season, he's looked better at right wing when Salah's been gone, than at left wing. So for me, I do think we need a little bit more attacking power. So for me, I agree with you. Yes, I would go in for Kubo.
Very interesting. Great minds think alike. I like it.
Have you got any more players to throw my way?
Well, you know what? The one player that is definitely getting a lot more attention. I know that he's on our radar. It's apparently this. I'm not only big in Japan, I'm big in Colombia too.
Yeah.
So The other player I was going to say is Mattia. He's very young. He's 20 years old, I believe. We've been heavily linked in by interest in him. He plays center back. He certainly isn't a tried and tested style center back where he's played on some big name team or had European experience, but he is apparently a player that we are interested in going for. He's not going to be he's going to be more like a 15 million possibly type player or something like that, maybe 20 million, if not less. But he's not someone that is a needle mover. He's not someone that is a automatic starter. He's more so on the lines of what we would expect from a Kwanzaa or someone like that, in the sense of playing in a third, if not fourth, if not fifth center back role. Would that be enough for you?
Again, Nat Phillips is not here. Reece Williams is gone. So Reece Williams never play for Liverpool again, I don't think. But I do think we need another centre back, and I think right now we just need a backup. So if he's coming as a backup to maybe like Learn or Virgil, Ibu, and Kwanzaa, then I don't see why not, because I think that's what we need. We need one more centre back, and so if that is going to be that youngster, then so be it, because I think that's what we need. I've got some suggestions now, and I want to see what you think. So another player I really like is Todibo from Nice.
Oh, from Nice.
He's a French centre back. Man United are very linked with him because, of course, Ineos own Nice. Kind of makes sense, but that's one of the players I really like as well. If we were to get one more midfielder, I've kept saying that for me, I would like to get Kone over Thuram, because Thuram is what Gravenberch is to us, so there's no need to get another 8 like him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think right back sorted, but then the problem is I don't know if you noticed as well a lot, but I've noticed that a lot in games this season, Trent, midfielder will come off, Bradley will come on, or Gomez will come on, and we move Trent into CDM or centre midfield. Like against Fulham, we won that game because Trent moved into midfield and won that game from midfield. So, because of that, do you see in the future Trent moving to midfield and then maybe having Bradley being the first choice right back and Trent being the first choice, kind of like Kevin De Bruyne-esque midfielder in the future?
I think I understand everyone's I wouldn't say obsession, but it's, for some people it is an obsession to get Trent into the into a midfielder position. These are some of the concerns I have for that, and just keep in mind I do heavily rate Trent as a right back. I think he's redefined the position. I think especially now with this inverted role that he's playing, I think that it's just another adaptation to his to the generational talent signature that he's putting on the position. But when it comes to this lineup, when it comes to this team, it comes to the whole structure of what we've put forward, I think that we utilize Trent for what it is, which is a significant player that can play right back, can play midfield, can play, in that holding spot, in that pivot. And if we just move him to that midfield, then who are we moving out?
That's true. Yeah.
Not going to play a defensive midfielder. Let's move that along. If everyone's biggest lockstep or biggest problem with Trent is his defense, then you're not going to have him as your DM. It's just not going to be the case. You're not going to have his. You're most likely going to have him as your 6. So that means that you got to find a role for him as either the left side at CM or the right side at CM, right? And that means you're either replacing Curtis Jones, I personally think Curtis Jones is one of the most essential players. I've
I
actually had
agree.
an episode. I think he's one of the most essential players to the team, the same way that Ginny was one of the most essential players to our midfield. And we noticed that when Ginny was not a part of it. And then you have to focus in on the right midfield. And that means that the right midfielder, being Dom, would have to find a new position. Because where are you putting Dom at then? You know? Where does Dom go? He has to go somewhere, and it's not to the bench for me. So I get where people are saying we want to see him as a inverted position, halfback. I get when people say you want to see him in midfield. I just believe that you're not really fully grasping the fact that the structure and foundation of this team currently does not support it. This is the only way that we can support getting Trent further advanced in that midfield, or in a more advanced role, is in the role that he plays as this inverted halfback. And that's just how it is.
No, I listen, I fully agree with you. I think Trent has to stay right back. And I think he should be one inverting, and then maybe you have someone come a little bit more deeper to help out with Trent's that kind of stuff. I think the problem is, sometimes when Szoboszlai and Trent inverts, they kind of get in each other's way a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that happen a few times. But for me, for January, I'd only get centre back, and that's just my worry. Because my worry is I don't want to see what happened in.
Who's that centre back then? Who is that centre back for you then?
That's the
Who's
issue.
your top priority centre back that you want to see brought in?
That this is the problem with January, is lots of clubs are not going to want to sell, and this is why, for me, this is why there's only been one club in January that's in the Premier League that's been making moves, and that's Tottenham. But that's fair enough, because they have so many injuries to the defence. They had to get another defender, and because Son's out, they had to get another.
If they did, then why did they get rid of Dyer?
Because Dyer's arse. He's just so bad.
That's just it.
I think that as well. When I think as well that Dyer naturally, I think, is a CDM. I don't know why he's gone to Bayern, but fair enough. I think for me personally, Dyer was not in Ange's plans anymore, and they replaced him with another centre back, and they got Werner. I don't understand why they got Werner, because Werner, he got an assist against Man United, but he was so terrible. But they're the only club doing anything. Man United not doing anything. Newcastle not doing anything. Chelsea not doing anything. I think this January for Premier League clubs is going to be very quiet, and I think you might see stuff on the final day, loans and stuff. But I don't think we'll do anything in January.
I personally, I can understand what you're saying. I don't even know if we're going to see a lot of movement on the final day, unless I've been saying this. I know I've seen a lot more content creators out there kind of pick up on what I've said here and run with it themselves. I'm not saying they got it from me, but I'm just saying in general, and that is that this PSR, or profit sustainability type stuff, is having an impact on the league. What they've done with what we've seen done with Everton, and especially what we've seen done twice now, possibly with Everton, and what we've seen with Forest, what we see in the works with City, what we will eventually and should see, which is some type of punishment for Chelsea as well. Look, there are some big name teams out there that need to make moves, but they're not going to be able to do so because they're going to run up against that profitability sustainability concept, and that means that you're not going to be able to do these deals. I was looking. I'm sure you have a Gooner friend or two in your life.
Yeah,
and
loads.
I know plenty of Gooners that have been speaking on, we need to go out there and get Tony. We need to go out there and get Osimhen or someone, obviously a needle mover for them when it comes to that position. You got to get a player that's better than the one that you have currently. You know, you just can't get like a player for the future. You got to get a player for now. And if that's the case, then that means you're gonna have to spend some big time money, especially if they're a Premier League player, or especially if they're like a talisman style player like Osimhen. And guess what? That means you're looking at $100+ million for these players. And when you look at I was looking at what Arsenal did, for instance, in the last window, in the summer window. They already brought in £200 million of worth of players in just 3 players alone. You know, so that means that you're going to have to move someone. You're most likely going to have to move someone to make it work. If you think I'm wrong on that, ask Newcastle. Ask Newcastle. Newcastle did not make some 200 million or whatever it was, type acquisition in the summertime. Okay, they are not. But they certainly are in. They have obviously the backing and everything else, but that shows that it's not about what your owners have in their pockets. It's about what your team creates. It's what your team makes, as in the books when it comes to trying to figure out what you can do in the January window. And then it's all about, then there's so many other variables that get pushed into there. Again, whether the player even wants to play for your team, whether the player likes the city that he's going to be moving to, whether the player wants to move to whatever climate and environment that he's moving to, whether the player's family wants to move there, all these factors are factors in these moves. And with all those variables, it makes it extremely difficult to get these deals across the line when you're considering you have a month, and now we're dealing with less than a month to make it happen.
Yeah, and as I said, for me, when I said we need to get a CDM and stuff in January, this is when we got Endo, and we didn't see what and this is before Endo said, "I'm gonna prove you guys wrong." And now that I see Endo, I'm like, I'm happy Endo is CDM. He's proved to me enough. Like, it'd be really unfair to sign someone and just say, go on the bench, when he's proved enough. This is why I said to Beige, and I said, and I want to know your opinion on this, Bo, but we were speaking about injured players coming back, right? And I said, Joe Gomez to me, at left back so far, has been better than Robertson and Tsimikas. And for me, he cannot be dropped. Till Robbo or Costas earn it, because the problem is it would seem to me really cruel or unfair from Klopp that as soon as Robbo footage gets dropped, because that just shows that no matter how good Gomez plays at left back, he can't earn that spot. And I think we should be doing positions based on who deserves to play. I think most of it speaks for itself. But at left back this season, Robbo's looked off it at times. Costa looked off it a little bit and then got really into it. And then obviously he did his shoulder. But Joe Gomez this season, at left back, I don't know what you think. For me, he's looked really, really good. And when Robbo gets back fit, I would not drop him until we play maybe Robbo a few games at against in the FA Cup if we get past Norwich and that kind of stuff, and then after that you can go, let's put him back in. What's your thoughts on that? Would you do that? Would you drop Robbo, drop Robbo straight back in?
I personally would put Robbo straight back in if he's able to, if he's fit, he can run a full 90. He's back up to like his standards in the sense of whatever. I would put him back in under this pretense. I think that truthfully, I love what Gomez has been doing at left back. Don't get me wrong. I love what Gomez has been doing as a quote unquote utility player. It's unfortunate that some of these words, some of these names, some of these names for the roles that we give these positions, or just roles in general, sometimes they have negative connotations behind them. I don't think that being a utility player should have a negative connotation. I don't think a super sub should have a negative connotation behind it. But so often people hear, "Oh, utility player," they think, "Oh, that's a negative. That's a negative slant." You're not, and if anything, no, I'm saying he's doing us a service. He's a Swiss Army knife for us. And guess what? If you were out in the wilderness, one of your best friends is a lighter and a Swiss Army knife. Those two things are the two things you need to survive. You know, so you need utility players on a team to really make a difference. And again, my opinion on that is that I'm not going to shy away from the fact that I was definitely critical on the way of his performances at right center back last year for us. I thought they were poor. I thought he was definitely in a bad place when it came to his performances as when it came to right center back. However, I always was very high on him as a right back, and now as a left back, he's shown his versatility. You can't tell me other teams that have that versatility in a player. He's the longest tenured Liverpool player currently on this team for a reason. You know, I think that I appreciate Gomez, but I also think that Gomez understands his role on this team is to be that utility player that gets us through cup games, gets us through the dark times when we have injuries, gets us through what we need him to get us through when it comes to, again, covering whatever position in the back line it needs to be covered. And that's why I say, for right now though, you can tell a difference by having a left back with a left foot as opposed to having a left back with a predominant right foot. And I want to bring back having someone that has a great left foot on the left side. That's my personal opinion.
That's a good point you made, 12th man. But question I'm gonna ask for you. Joey's been doing a stellar job, and I brought up this question to Jersey, right? Joey's been doing a stellar job at left back position. He has not looked out of place. He's played immense defensively. He's locked up Saka in 2 games.
Absolutely.
Actually, every player that he's gone up against, he's locked them up. They haven't took control of him whatsoever. Don't you think that even if Robbo comes back and when he comes back and he gets into match shape and he's fit, it sets the wrong message that if you are in form and playing extremely well, because this was this guy's position before he got injured, he just goes right back in, and because you've been playing well, you just lose your spot.
I have a 3-tier answer for that. So I would say, first off, it's this problem runs in a lot of different sports. Whether it's basketball, football, or American football. Like, it always comes down to, like, a lot of times the answer is always you should never lose your spot because of injury. That's usually the answer when it comes to it. But I can understand, yes, Gomez has been playing stellar at left back. The second tier to this is there have been times when we have seen the difference between having a left-footed left back and having a right-footed left back. Yeah. And having that option is something that could create, that's not necessarily like a total breakdown of our system, but it is something that I would like to see as being a viable option for our team. Okay. So the last tier of this answer would be, what does Gomez want? Does Gomez want to be a left back? Or does Gomez want to be a right center back? Or does Gomez want to be a right back? I don't know that answer, unfortunately, but I do kind of tend to lean towards that. I don't think Gomez has said to himself, I want to make left back my position. I think he's doing a service for us at left back, but I don't think that he wants to make left back his role, his position, the position that he's known and noted for. I think he would rather be probably a right center back, if not a right back, as being his priority list of concentrating on him getting back into some type of form and being a part of the club. So,
Mhm.
you know, I can see you say I'm not against him playing left back. I get your argument. I just personally think of it from if I was his agent or something like that, I'd be like, what is it that we want to go forward with? You know, are we looking to make left back your home, or are we looking to make right back your home?
Yeah. Set, put right back into the starting lineup. I think Joey's own the position right now. I think he should. It could be rotated, but I don't think it should be automatic. Robbo going straight back in, just because I don't think Joey's done anything wrong, and Joey's been with the club longer than Robbo has, and Joey has played. He's had some immense injuries that has hampered his career, but he's proven now that he is very reliable. He's a good player, and he is a good player over multiple positions, not just left back. I think he's better on the wings, to be honest, than a center back. I think Joey is not a very good center back. Last year, I roasted him. You know, you heard. I roasted him last year at center back position. He got roasted himself by many opposing players. I don't think that fits his strength anymore, and that maybe has something to do with his injuries with his knees. That could have caused that. I think the wings suit him more, and he could fit on either side. Yes, I get what you're saying with the right foot to the left foot, but then we also have to ask ourselves, the question is, was Robbo really playing that well over the last umpteen months? Because for me, Robbo has not been Robbo in a while, a long time. Doesn't cross well anymore, puts the ball into danger box. He's not haven't had an assist in forever, which is one of his. Always used to be him and Trent fighting for assists as the wing backs for or the fullbacks for our team. Always has been for years, right?
Right.
Robbo, in that standpoint, defensively he's still very good, but offensively he's fell off a cliff. I don't know what it is, but he's fell off a cliff. So because of that, if Robbo was still in Robbo's form when he went with the injury, like from when he was 2 years ago, you know what I mean? Being stellar, the best left back in the world, as a lot of people called him. I hear where you're coming from. But from what I've seen, and this is just my opinion, people are going to disagree with me, which I'm perfectly fine with. I don't, you know what I mean? What I'm saying doesn't mean everything. But what I've seen,
it means a lot. It means a lot. It means a lot to me.
The drop off that we've seen from him on the offensive side of the ball, and I don't know if it's because him and Mane had that connection as well. Him and Diaz don't have that connection.
Do you think that Gomez? So you're saying basically, and this is for you both. Then, do you think that Gomez has established a better relationship with Diaz and with Curtis? I guess now because they're creating that left-sided triangle. Okay.
Yes.
You're saying that you think Gomez has a better relationship with the three of them than Tsimikas and Robbo?
Robertson had the relationship with Diaz too, because if you watch the games that Tsimikas started, the left side was way better than when Robbo was starting. I don't know what it is between him and Diaz, but there is no chemistry. They're not understanding what each other wants the other one to do. Robbo, that was organically with Mane, but for some reason with Diaz, it is not there. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I can't tell you, but you can see the glaring difference. You can see it. But yeah, Tsimikas had a better relationship on the left with Diaz, and also Joey did. Joey does as well, because Diaz has actually picked up his game now, and those guys are there in that position, and Robbo's not on the team because of injury. So yeah, it could only make us better, right? It can't. I mean, these are just debates that we're having and discussions we're having, but it could only make us better as a team. And like I said to Jersey, having all this situation with the injuries with teams on our team right now, and the youngsters having to come in and play valuable minutes and put in valuable shifts to help this team keep on plugging forward, is going to do nothing but make our team stronger. Nothing but that. And we're just going to be a better team for it. And maybe we don't have to go and splash a whole ton of money for this player or that player. We may already have those players in our position, like me and Jersey talked about, CDM. We may not even have to go and do the CDM because we have Bisetic there. He shows that he's quality in that position, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We now have Bradley there on right back. That's going to be covering for Trent,
Right.
and he has not looked out of place in the last 2 games that he's played. So we might not need to go out. We may need to just bolster our team in other areas per se. Maybe it's Mbappe in the summer on a free.
I hope so. I hope so.
From your lips to God's ears. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
But no, I hear where you're coming from, though, with the Robbo situation. I love Robbo, I do, but I drop off.
I was going to say, and I can understand, if we continue to do this inverted, which I do foresee us doing, because it's about, for a lot of times, especially with tactical breakdowns, I know some people are into tactical breakdowns, some people are into the tactics, some people aren't. Some people are just like, entertain me, that's all they want. They want to win and entertain me. That's the only 2 things that they care about. But one of our biggest problems last year was, especially with the legs that we were relying on in the midfield. But in the midfield for us, a lot of times it was mathematical matchups, as in the mathematical breakdown of the matchups that became. We were just getting overpowered in our midfield because of the numbers that we were, able to deal with in the midfield. So that's why you see teams like Pep's team, or now with Klopp's teams, utilizing this box midfield. That's because they're trying to bring 4 midfielders now into it, and having that variable being like, okay, sometimes, well, going forward or even progressing, if it does progress to that back line, we can deal with having either a box 4 or going into a flat 4. It's important. But if we are going to utilize that third, if we're not going to take that left back and make him go as far forward as we were dealing with as normal, which is what Robbo is used to, then I think I agree. Gomez does work out a little bit more of a better substitute, because he is someone that obviously has played center back in his life, can play a more traditional 3. You could play him with a more traditional 3 center backs in the back line and worry about it that way, if that's the case.
And then you just made a point with the whole inverted part with Trent, because Gomez has the familiarity of playing center back position. When Trent inverts, now you really have 3 center backs as your back 3 covering your defensive, right? Because Robbo has a tendency to bomb forward.
Exactly.
And now you're at a back 2, which will leave you a lot more open in terms of gaps.
Right.
But Gomez now can be a lot more disciplined because he's a center back first, and fill that position and make sure that those gaps aren't that wide and that deep, that open, right? It might work in our favor. You know what I mean?
I have something to ask too. Again, this is a segue from what we're just saying then too. This is something I've heard from another tactician out there that had an idea or concept, and we all know that the right side, or Trent's side of the pitch, that little area that he occupies, is a place that they do target. I do personally think that they utilize the left side too as openly as well, because you only have the 2 backs, as you said, really making the coverage. But do you think that Klopp there's always going to be a place on the pitch that you can target regardless? I know people always say, oh, well, they keep doing his side, or keep doing Trent's side, and keep going to Trent's side. Well, every team is going to have a place on the pitch that you can target and make that as your focal point to target and take the bloom for your offense.
Yeah.
But do you think that Klopp is doing it on purpose, or is that just a result of teams targeting Trent's area because of his ability, his defensive ability?
Yeah, I think it's teams targeting Trent, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Jersey, you feel the same way?
You feel the same way, Jersey?
What about players targeting Trent at the moment.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone's going to be targeting Trent because of his defensive abilities, but I do think we're seeing a massive difference this season of his defender because I don't think he's been as bad.
I agree.
Like Martinelli
Agreed.
skinned Trent a few times, but Trent got back in position, and I've seen Trent be much better. Of course, Trent's had several moments this season where he's been not as good defensively, but there's a massive difference, and they're always going to target him because out of both fullbacks, he's the weakest at defending. But not many types of targeting him, but they're not getting any joy out of it because they get Trent once, and then they're no man's land. Like Doku had Trent on the ropes, but every time he got past Trent, he failed every time. He got past Trent, but then once he got past Trent, he couldn't do anything. So kind of them skinning Trent, it allows the other players to sit back and stop whatever's happening.
I personally think that the Trent it can't play defense. Not saying you're saying this at all. I'm saying from the pundits out there, that constantly put it out there as being as if Trent is like the worst defensive player they've ever seen in their lives. Do you think that's just lazy punditry? Do you think that's like a lazy narrative that's being pushed out there? Or do you actually think that Trent is a poor defensive player? I personally do not think he's a poor. When Trent is dialed in, Trent can play defense.
Yes.
It's just a matter of keeping him engaged on both. He's often so dialed into just going forward and getting the ball and progressing the ball forward that occasionally he'll cheat a little bit and not make the extra effort of getting back into the quote unquote right defensive positioning and everything else. He trusts Ibu, or he trusts Virgil, or that they'll be able to take that, they'll be able to snuff it out, and we'll be able to get a quick counter. So if he cheats a little bit, you can get away with it. So he thinks he can get away with it more so. But sometimes it's a gamble, and sometimes when that gamble doesn't pay off, yes, you're going to get called out. But that's personally my take. I don't think that Trent is as poor. I don't think Trent is a bad defensive player. I think Trent can be good if he was obligated and dialed in. He could be good at defense. It's just a matter of we have a generational talent that knows that if he gets that 1 second of separation, that could be the difference in being able to get a cross or a long ball or just traveling with the ball himself for a shot. Those things make a difference. And that's what he's willing to gamble. And I think Klopp is willing to gamble on that too.
As I say, Beijing, give your thoughts. I'm just going to use the bathroom. I'll be all right.
Yeah. I 12th man, I agree with you 100% because I don't think Trent is as bad as a lot of people make him out to be this season. And we did talk about Martinelli skinning him out twice, but Martinelli had just come on the pitch as a fresh player. Compared to a player that's been playing the whole game. And you're gonna have a lot more legs on you and a lot more burst and umph in your step.
And isn't that the game too? That's the game as well that he had the injury.
Yeah, he did 100%. Yeah,
and he ended up playing the full 90. He played the full 90.
No, I think he came off. He actually did play. No. He came off because Bradley replaced him, and then Martinelli got
I think
stopped.
He got moved to midfield.
Yes, he did. Yes, you're right. He went into midfield.
Right.
Bradley came on, went into the right back position, and absolutely stumped Martinelli. Martinelli couldn't do nothing at that point in time. So I agree with you. And Trent's he's been cooked a couple times, but that's going to happen. That happens to anyone in the league.
Exactly.
I mean, Kyle Walker has gotten roasted over the last few games. No one's talking about that, right?
Yep.
No one's talking about it. So, Trent's been good. I think he gets a lot more stick than he should, to be honest with you. He is a brilliant offensive-minded person, and you can't have it both ways. No one's going to be exceptional in both areas. It's just not. Now you're looking at a robot, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's either you're superior in one aspect or the other. It's either or. You're not in both. It's very rare that you see someone is exceptional in both aspects of the game, offensively and defensively.
Right.
NBA, for example, LeBron James, brilliant offensive player, subpar defender, right?
There are exceptions. There are exceptions to that rule for the NBA, but I got what you're saying.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan was like amazing at defense too.
He is my GOAT, right? But he was top level on both aspects. But that's very rare.
Very rare. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're all NBA offensively, all NBA defensively, who sees that? What?
Yeah. No. I just want to make sure that you didn't get like clipped up or something. That's why
I picked LeBron. I didn't say Jordan because I know Jordan's there on both levels. You know what I mean? Totally. People aren't fair on Trent, but people don't like Liverpool. Let's just call a spade, right?
Exactly.
They're always against us, always, which makes me even more happier when we beat teams and then when we go along and we win this league this year. Simple.
It's interesting. Jersey, do you come across that like when hearing the ratings or hearing the evaluations for Liverpool players? Because so often, I mean, obviously a lot of Manchester United former players are pundits, especially over in England. I know that. So you're gonna have that bias and everything else. You can tell the bias, that sometimes you hear from Neville or, and the like. But it seems like a lot, even there's still a lot of pundits that are former Liverpool greats that buy into the same narratives. Like, it's just very interesting to me.
Listen, I agree with you, but for me, I don't think Trent helped himself last season in terms because a lot of times Trent was walking at like 1 mile an hour back when we was countered. I think what really helped Trent when he 18, 19, 19, 20, whatever, was even though a lot of people don't like him now, I'm, still angry at him because of what he's done and stuff like that. Jordan did help Trent out a lot when Trent bombed forward and filled the gap in. And that's kind of made the defensive thing not come up that often. When our midfield last season was the worst midfield I've ever seen, because the midfield last season shouldn't have been that bad, but Fabinho suddenly looked like he was 90 years old. Henderson was hoofing everywhere, and for some reason Milner was first choice midfielder for some weird reason. It all fell apart, and because no one was filling that position, Trent every single time was left on his own, and I think he's, like Darwin, a player that runs on emotion. And I think once things are going bad, bang, head's lost. And he just doesn't bother. And I think this season, because we made the right changes right now, everything is going perfect. And because Trent's in a really good headspace, he's working really well. And that's why, because he was working really bad last season and Trent was so bad and the midfield was everything, we were like, we had to find a solution. And I think the best solution was we get a more defensive type of midfielder in, like a Jones or whatever, into the midfield. And then that's when Klopp saw Trent can do the midfield roles really, really well. And when last season, when you saw Trent starting to invert, that's when we went on the last 6-7 game winning streak before we drew to Villa and drew to Southampton. We saw the beginning of the new Trent. And in my opinion, Trent is a very, very good player. For me, he's the best attacking right back in the world. And for me, he, in his position in midfield, could be one of the best midfielders in the world. But for me, as a complete right back in terms of attacking and defending, he's not up there because of his defending. But we are seeing him improve every week this season. And I'm hoping, with a lot of work, next season, or something like that, we will see the complete Trent, where he can defend. Because this season, there's been times where he's been skinned, but he's run back and stopped it. Last season, he would have just walked back and score. So there's big difference in Trent this season. And it's clear that Trent is not, for me, in top of defensive right back this season. I don't think he's in the top 10. but he is really improving. And I genuinely, the way he's keep going this season, we might see him as the one very good defensive right back, because people keep talking about Reece James. Reece James is never fit, but I've seen Reece James. I've seen Reece James. I've seen Reece James get skinned like Trent as well. So.
Oh, me too.
So people,
That's like a
you
Black
know,
Eyed Peas
you
song.
know, people said the best right back in the
2008.
world is Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker this season has been ass. I've seen City fans go, Kyle Walker, get out my club. Like against, he was against Newcastle. All 2 goals came from Walker's side. Walker was out front for both goals.
Skinned both times.
Both times.
Then who is the best right back in the world for you then? Who's the best right back in the world for you? Trent is my pick still for
Trent. No, right now it's Trent. There's no. Trippier was up there, and then Trippier for 5 games in a row was the reason Newcastle lost. Walker is the big defensive liability for Man City, and I've said this since last season. Walker does not fit in the new system. It doesn't work because City play 3. What's the formation they played? I think they play 3-1-3 something. They play a formation where they play no fullbacks. They play Rodri. No, 3-2. Let's say 3-2-4-1. So they last season they played Akanji, Diaz, Ake. Then you had Stones and Rodri. Then you had Gundogan, Bernardo. Gundogan, Bernardo, De Bruyne, Grealish, Haaland. That was the structure. That worked when he was 3 centre-backs. Yeah. Kyle works as a centre-back when he's like England and it's a back 3. But this 3-2-4-1 formation, Walker does not work at all in there. So I think it's also part of the new system. And I genuinely believe he should have gone to Bayern Munich in the summer, but he didn't go. For me, if you look at right backs right now, the 2 good right backs I really like this season is Trent, Pedro Porro, and Livramento. Those are the 3. I can't think of any other right backs. Left back, you got Udogie.
I'm not laughing at that reason. I'm laughing for another reason. Because the fact is, like, for anyone to say, okay, we're gonna have, let's say you had a right back Ballon d'Or style competition. It's just for right backs can only be in this Ballon d'Or.
Trent wins it.
Candidates are Trent Alexander-Arnold,
Pedro
Porro, and then who's your
Livramento.
Yeah, exactly.
For me and the league, that's the 3 best right backs this season.
Yeah, that's where the levels are.
Yeah.
I stress this so often in when we have these discussions on like, oh, I want this player in my team, or we want this player in the team. I'm like, do you realize that you can say what you want to say, but the levels aren't there when it comes to right back, when it comes to left back, for that matter, in Premier League, in any league. Tell me some left backs in the world. I just went through this whole draft, basically, and there's a reason why my back 4 is the original back 4 for Liverpool, and it's because I think our back 4 contends positionally with every top player in the world. You can make an argument.
Yeah, I agree.
They could get into a team.
I genuinely believe if you look at world football right now, La Liga, there's no standout right back in La Liga. There's no standout right back in Italian League. There's no standout right back in Portuguese League. The only place where people are looking to good right backs is the Premier League, and there's the 3. People probably go Kyle Walker, but Kyle Walker is not the person we've seen before. Trippier was really good last season, and he's been really bad for Newcastle. Hakimi's not been playing at the moment for PSG. Even though I know he's at AFCON, he's not been turning up for PSG either. So
exactly, yeah, he hasn't.
So for me, it's no debate. anyone saying anyone else is just deluded. In my opinion, it's fact.
Right.
Trent is clear of every right back this season. No one comes close to him whatsoever. I think the closest is Pedro Porro, but Pedro Porro is still miles behind.
Right. And that's why when I hear the conversation of, do you want to move Trent into the midfield? Again, who you're going to replace? Who's he replace in our midfield? And we are now substantially taking away from the quality at right back with any person that you bring up. I have the highest, regard, and I have the highest promise or hope that Connor can blossom into the levels that we're seeing from Trent. Absolutely, but let's just be honest, he's not Trent Alexander-Arnold. Okay, so there's no player in all of world football that you could say is going to make a better option at right back.
No, I agree with you, but the only reason I was mentioning that is because I've seen a lot of the season Klopp put Trent into midfield and put Gomez there. So the other thing is always the only reason I've not mentioned Frimpong is I really do rate Frimpong is he's actually more of a right winger. He is Trent. He's kind of like Trent, but his defensiveness is ass, like bad. But Frimpong, for me, is the kind of player that would work really well as a right wing back. He's fantastic for Bayer Leverkusen, but I think for Bayer Leverkusen, he's kind of playing like a false right wing. So, for me, I don't count Frimpong. But for me, like you look at our position, left back. This season, I don't think we come anywhere near that because I think one is Edoji, Alphonso Davies is not even talked about anymore. Like that's the problem. Is this season you look at the players around the world and you go the only place where there's competition around the world is midfield, defence, and striker. A goalie, a goalie is a bit of competition, but for me, best goalie in the world this season, Alisson Becker. Second, Vicario, because I think people didn't know who the hell this guy was. Came in being amazing for Tottenham. Right back, Trent. Left back, Edoji, in world football, because I can't think of anyone else. Centre backs.
Van der Ven has played well. Doesn't he play left back?
He's been centre back.
Left centre back.
Yeah.
What about Olbach from Atletico?
I know he can play left back and left center back. That's why. But
I know he's been good as well.
Olbach, the goalie in Atletico, has been very good.
I could use some names because I got to find a player for my team here that I made up. But
but you got that. But like centre backs, let's look at fake scenario of this season. The best players this season. So we've got right back Alisson, we've got right back Trent, Alisson in goal, left back Edoji. Balde's been another good one. I think he should be in that shout as well. I guess it doesn't help that Barcelona have not looked good this season. For parts. But for me, Edoji goes in there. Centre back is where it gets difficult because you've got a lot of good centre backs out there. Would you put Virgil in that centre back pairing? For best in the world this season.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
He's at the top of the list, in my opinion.
Right centre back. Who's the right centre back for you?
I'm going to have to give it to Saliba still.
I'm going Saliba as well because I think Saliba's been outstanding.
On current form, I would say, truthfully, I would say Konate, but I would still say Saliba on paper is a better choice at center back.
Yeah, and then
I mean, let's just be honest. Konate played exceptionally well in that FA Cup game. I think Konate has played exceptionally well ever since he's had to take on a leadership role. And that's what was physically said apparently by Klopp to Konate is that look around you, you're the guy today, make it happen, and he absolutely did. And I know Konate's been, undervalued possibly because of he's been had a checkered past with his injuries. But I think Konate is arguably one of the best center backs in the world at the moment with his current.
No, I agree. I do agree with that. But the one's a bit difficult is CDM, because for me, no one's really shined. Because Vice has been really good, but the last 5 games has been ass. Today he was ass against Palace. He got skinned every time against Eze. Rodri has been getting sent off left, right, and centre, making mistakes. Like it's not looked the same. He's been getting better now, but he's not been looking the same. Endo's made a few mistakes in a few games and looked poor in a few games, but most games he's looked good. And I can't think of any other CDMs or Zubamendi's one that I really like. He's been Paulinho as well. Who would you put in best in the world this season in CDM? Based on this season, not 2023-24, but like just this season so far. Who's been the best CDM you can think of?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Based
I'm
on...
gonna still have to give it to Rodri.
I still might have to give it to Rodri too. I mean, it depends. Always when you get into these questions too, you have to say current form, or is it...
No, just overall this
gotta
season,
look
not
over
current
the
form.
season.
Overall
You gotta
this...
look over the season.
Over the season. That's a really hard one.
Because this, as you said, Rodri's missed games because of discipline problems, obviously, with the cards. Obviously, that should be negatives against him. He's also... Some of the players that you mentioned in there have had, like, subpar... Rice, like you just mentioned, has had subpar games. I mean, I've made this argument time and
Bruno
time again.
Guimaraes could be up there, too.
Who's that?
Bruno Guimaraes.
Bruno Guimaraes could be up there too, for sure. And what I was about to say is that you said Rice, for instance, Rice and Endo played in the matchups I've seen them play. I saw Endo have a better performance than Rice had.
Yeah.
In both the showings. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's places and times where you can say, but am I going to say that Endo is on paper a better player than Rice? No, I'm not going to make that statement. But what I can say is that Endo has fit into the system he's in. Has immensely picked up this system well as he's developed and blossomed into what we covet as a destroyer, as a DM for our team. I can't say the same naturally for other teams because Caicedo's been hit or miss.
Yeah.
Injured for the majority of the year, so you can't even say it for him. Casemiro again been hurt and injured for the good portions of the year. Amrabat has been hit or miss. He isn't really. I think he's been underperforming. I think he's riding off of
Yeah, I think he's been ass. Genuinely.
Yeah, I think he's been terrible acquisition for what they pay, for what they expected from him, at least. And then you just continue to go down the line. There's just not many other players out there that I would say are worthy.
For me, I'm CDM just based on the impact this season. I'm gonna go Rice. Even though I know he's been ass recently, I do think he's had a big impact on Arsenal. Then we go left centre mid. This is where it gets difficult. Left. No, we're gonna go 4-2-3-1. Let's go 4-2-3-1.
Okay. Just do 4-3-3. It's easy.
4-3-3. Left centre mid for me. I don't care which position for me. It's no debate whatsoever. It's the player we lost out on. It's Jude Bellingham. This kid has been outstanding. Even though for Madrid he plays as the 9, he plays the Firmino role, but in
he plays the
he's been in midfield going into the 9. For me, my first choice, best midfielder this season, is Jude.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed. No argument from me.
Right centre mid is where it gets difficult. Because Kevin De Bruyne has been out injured all season. Most of the season. He's come back, instantly made an impact, but it's still not as much. You got... I'm trying to think of midfielders this season have been really good. You got Rabiot, you got wouldn't count Odegaard in there. City's midfielders this season have not really impressed me. Szoboszlai I don't think is in there. I'll ask you, a Liverpool 12 man, what for you? Who do you think's been the best right centre mid in this season, out of all the leagues? It's difficult.
Very difficult. Because I mean, like early in the year, we could have given a shout out for Dom, but that's not the case currently. Right center mid for me. That's a really good question.
That's been outstanding.
That's been outstanding. Yeah.
I can't think of one. City's midfielders. The only one is Kevin De Bruyne.
Obviously, you would say KDB, but KDB's only had one real game that we've seen him in, really, to be able to make that shout, because he's been injured so much. You can maybe go Gundogan, right? Because he plays like a sort of like a right mid, sort of right defensive.
Yeah.
Has he been that stellar at Barca though?
He's been good at Barcelona, but Barcelona are just a crap at the moment.
Valverde, I would probably have to give it for right now.
I mean, Kimmich plays on the right side.
Yeah, but there's been a problem with Tuchel. I don't think.
Barella's a shout.
Inter been really good this season. That's a shout. Rabiot at Juventus. That's a player.
Been good too.
There's a player that I keep telling people about. Before the World Cup, I was saying I don't want Rabiot starting. Huh?
I don't know if you guys know about him, but Fabian Ruiz plays for PSG.
Oh, Fabian Ruiz has been good, yeah.
Maybe Valverde.
It's hard. It's really hard. I'm gonna go Valverde because I can't think of
Valverde probably. I would probably say Valverde maybe is the only one I could think of that is like really tearing up trees, if anything,
Yeah. Right wing. Let's go right wing. I think it has to be Mo. There's to be no right winger this season that's impressed me more than Mo. Even though Mo's been shit a lot of the time, he's bagging it. Can you name me one right winger this season? Other one I would put up there is Rodrigo.
I was gonna say Rodrigo has played well. There's a player out there that I do like. His name is Kang In Lee. He's played really, really well.
Oh, Kang In Lee for PSG, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been boarding.
He plays on the left side, but he can play right side too.
Yeah.
He can play left and right.
That's another option.
Who else I would say? Dembele has actually played well for PSG.
It's a hard one because I can't think in the Premier League. I think Saka's up there, but Saka's been poor recently.
Yeah, the Prem, whole different story. That's a whole different story with the Prem.
But for me, I'm gonna go. For me, there's only two that come to my head, and that's Salah, Rodrigo, Saka. Those are my three. Top three.
In the Prem, yes, in the Prem, I could see that being the case. Because I like Torres too. I like Torres has played well too.
That's another good one. Ash in the comments says Savio. I forgot, but Savio from Girona, with how good Girona have been. He played on the right wing.
Yeah,
on loan.
Yeah, they have been good.
He's got to be in there. For me though, moving into a different position, striker for me, it's no debate. It's Harry Kane because he's broken the records. Like Haaland's been good this season, but Haaland scored the same amount of goals as Salah. He's been injured a lot of the time. He's number one for most chances missed. Big chances missed, and Kane has broken Lewandowski's record in quicker time, much quicker time. And for me, he's been the best striker in the world this season. I don't know what you think, Bajan, but for me, Harry Kane for me is my striker.
Harry Kane all day long. Can't even argue it. Can't.
Yeah, for me, it's Harry Kane. Left wing is where it gets a bit complicated because, of course, you've got Vinicius. You could put Son up there. You could put Vinicius
You know what?
Junior.
You could say Son actually as a striker too.
Oh no, yeah, Son's been good as a striker.
As he's played striker, I mean, considering the drop off from considering Harry Kane is the person that exited that position, exited from Spurs striker role, and then to have Son, move in from the left to that main striker position and almost not miss a beat, if not perform on the same level.
Yeah,
is a shout. Son has played exceptionally well. Son has played, and I know he gets put as a purple patch player or case. I think Son has played excellent this year. He's been a difference maker for them.
You know who's a shout at CDM that we didn't really talk about either? Douglas Luiz.
Oh
Douglas
no,
Luiz,
of course, yeah. Luiz.
Yeah, Paqueta too.
I think Luiz has been probably the best CDM right now. And
Kudus could be the right wing too. Isn't Kudus?
Yeah, Kudus was good in right wing.
Oh no, Kudus, yeah, and here's another shout. Even though he's been injury prone a lot and he's been poor, and this is someone who I work with, Ryan at FC. Leon Bailey this season for me he's looked the best he's been. He's been for me he's been the best attacker at Villa this season. With Watkins.
Bowen's been good to us.
Bowen's a shout.
Oh, you gotta say Bowen. You got to. You have to, for sure. I don't want to say
Leo's been good too.
Who's that?
Rafael Leao.
Florentine and Leo.
No, Florentine and Leo. Yeah. He's people are seeing him as the next Enzo Fernandez.
Right?
Yeah. There's so many players out there that
I think there's more left wing. I think if there's any position out there that is definitely star driven, but has a lot of stars. When I mean by star driven, I mean like has a lot of selection out there that you could say. I think left wing is obviously the most over, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the most overcrowded position if you're trying to get a stellar, pick out who's the cream of the crop. Because I mean, you can make a shout for Sane, you can make a shout for, you can obviously make a shout for Vinicius Junior. You can obviously make a shout for Mbappe. You can make a shout for who else? Well, Son doesn't play on the left wing technically anymore, so
let's give it to Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, there you go.
God, he's been so arsed this season. People telling me he was better than Mbappe. Mbappe's can be up there as well, but Mbappe this season nothing's really happened with PSG, so I wouldn't really. Oh, there's another one. Luis Openda.
Yeah, Leroy Sané too has been good on
Sané, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And
it helps when you have a great striker next to you. Definitely does.
So
yeah, 100%. So I think that's the team. In terms of manager, of course, I think it's Klopp. But if I would give it to someone else, for me, it has to be Unai Emery. If I'm going this season,
he's a great coach. He's a great coach, but he's not a great. He's a great coach, but he's a great coach for different reasons. I would say. Not to cut you off. I was just going to say.
No, you're coming from
my personal take on. My personal take on Unai Emery, who I am very high on, someone that I make fun of Arsenal fans, Arsenal supporters for giving up on him. Yet they're so lockstep, trust in the process with Arteta. I think Unai Emery is a coach that could take a Newcastle, for instance, and make them into pretty much a perennial top four team, if not borderline competing for titles or making title run some type of run. But I don't think that Unai Emery is on the level of a Pep or a Klopp, because I just think that you got to have that something special about you when it comes to being that coach. And I
I
think
got mine.
Pep and Klopp both have that something special.
Go
I
on,
got
Bayesian.
mine. Zabi Alonso.
I was going to say, for me,
Oh,
the
there you
league is
go.
united, but Xabi is, for me, at the moment, one of, if not the best so far that I've seen in terms of former player going into manager for like, you're going to suffer like, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was very good, but he didn't really do anything he didn't do anything big before he went to Man United. Same with Lampard. Didn't do anything big. He did Derby. What I like is what Xabi is doing first before he gets a Real Madrid or Liverpool. He's going to a club that's competing in Europe, in Bayer Leverkusen, in the Bundesliga, where it's difficult. Today, it wasn't going as he planned for Bayer Leverkusen, but his team still found a way to win. And for me, Xabi Alonso, for me, I genuinely believe this season it will be a Klopp v Xabi final in the Europa League.
We unfortunately we could see them before we make two.
Maybe yeah, because we'll see how the draws go. But I'm not worried about Roma anymore because of they got rid of Mourinho, and I think it was the wrong decision to get rid of Mourinho because Mourinho got them their first ever European trophy in their history, and it doesn't help when you got a bum like Lukaku up front.
That's so crazy. That's so funny that I guess I mean it's conference league, but I mean like hey, it's Europe, for a team for considering our teams in Europa, I'm not gonna take pot shots at it not being Champions League. But Conference League and all these other now there's so many different you can get a European title, but it's like it's just so many tiers.
I guess at the end of the day, it's a European trophy at the end of the day, and I want a European trophy.
Yeah, me too. Zabi's absolutely impressed me this season. Absolutely impressed me with his coaching and how he has that team set up and how they play. They get after it, that Leverkusen team. They do not give up. They do not give up at all. At all.
Yeah. That's what I mean by having that something special. I think that if you have a team that takes the identity, takes on the identity of the coach, which is what Roma did. Let's just be honest. It's what Atletico Madrid has done with Simeone. Simeone. If you have a coach that you can have your players not only adapt but adjust or even just personify it is what it is with your system, that's the difference maker. I think that's what it is, and that's why I rate what Klopp represents for our team so much because he's a generally great person, but then again, you can see the intensity and the amount of dedication that the players out there have in resembling what Klopp does on that pitch.
Yep, agreed.
100%, and I think this season has been a little bit more interesting in all the best teams in the world and all the best players in the world because there's not really been much standouts this year, other than your Salahs, Jude. I think Jude's been the most surprising one because obviously, I as I told Bayesian earlier, I said if we had Jude right now, Jude would not be scoring as many goals as he was right now because obviously Jude's playing a different role at Madrid because they've missed out on Benzema, and even though they've got a striker in Joselu is not very high level. I've seen him miss so many sitters for Madrid. But he will score a goal or two, but he will miss a lot of sitters. And Jude Bellingham is very good in that free roam role with Vinicius and Rodrigo as the kind of fake strikers going on the wing.
I'm gonna be honest here. I think that it would have been interesting to see where. Because I don't think that we would have seen the development of Curtis Jones.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Probably wouldn't. We wouldn't have seen some of the different tactics that we're utilizing. But I also think that and we probably would have possibly been in financial, financial microscope on us, to find out how we were able to make that deal happen.
Yeah.
But Jude Bellingham is a player that I do wish that we had gone in for. He's an incredible player, and he's to be doing it at Real Madrid, where you're on this team of high price Galacticos, or whatever you want to call them, to be doing it where you're basically the focal point of the team. The team revolves around you. That says immense things about your level of talent.
Nope, I agree.
I said to Beijing earlier that I believe if we had got Jude Bellingham, we wouldn't be where we are now. That's top of the league, and I explain why. Because the problem is, if you get Jude, that's it. It's Jude, maybe one really cheap player. We had to make that sacrifice because I think before when we were getting Jude, we were like, we got one of the best CDMs in the world in Fabinho. We got one of the best midfielders in whoever the midfield. And they kind of think, Jude, I think they kind of saw after the, when we, what game was it? It was the season where we, when we nearly won the quadruple. I think after that, they're kind of thinking Jude Bellingham could be the last piece of the puzzle to complete the puzzle. But I think they wanted to wait a little bit, and then when it came to the summer, yeah, and he is. But after that, I think they realised he isn't because that midfield where he thought he was the last slot completely capitulated. Fabinho went from the best CDM in the world to one of the worst in the league. Henderson became Mr. Hoofball, and we're like, what the hell are we watching? Milner became first choice. I was like, what the hell are we watching? And it was clear that the midfield needed a massive clear out. And I think we needed to buy the 3 or 4 midfielders this season. Because I think, imagine this season, Fabinho, Henderson, Jude, we are not top of the league. Right now.
I will say this: with Fabinho, I know that we probably would not have made all the moves that we made. I think we still would have made Endo as an acquisition. Personally, I think that there was a need for us to, with Bichette, being like questionable on his return, with the fact of Thiago having hip surgery, and that's going to be a longer road back for him. I think that we were going to look for some type of coverage in that central midfield, central DM role. I think we were going to find someone, some way, somehow. I mean, considering we were going to drop 100 million plus for Caicedo, it obviously meant that we were willing to spend big. I just think that it had to be the right selection, and I also think that if we had kept, this is hypothetically, if we had kept Fabinho, or if we had kept Fabinho and Henderson, okay, why not go out and get Maka still? Why not go out and get Dom still? Fab, Hendo, you just play. You're going to be playing utility roles now. You're going to be playing. I get those second fiddle roles, but guess what? Second fiddle, obviously, in a campaign where you're on all 4 fronts competing, you're going to get plenty of opportunities to get playing time. So I don't want to hear, I want to be a starter every day, every game. It's not possible. It just simply isn't really possible to do. You're going to have to take the opportunities when they present themselves. And if we're going to be on 4 fronts, that means you're going to have to pick and choose your battles. And I think we would have been able to utilize them sufficiently. We might have been able to even utilize a different formation with rotation and everything else. But would I would have relied on them solely as a starter? No, that's just not the case. Would I relied on the way that we relied on them last year? No. But if they were willing to take on new roles for this team, I would have openly been the first person to say, you can stay with this team, because I think that they understand the system. They understand what they need to do in the system. And if it means giving 25 minutes, in a game against Fulham, or against Bournemouth or or Burnley or something like that, I think we could have gotten it out of Hendo or Fab, to be honest with you.
What do you think, Bayesian?
I don't know if we would have gotten the players with Jude, to be honest. And Hendo clearly didn't want a diminished role. That's why he went to Saudi Arabia. Right? Klopp had that conversation with him. You're going to be a role player, and he didn't want that. And
where is he now? Where is he now?
He now is
He's
in
about to play a role player role for Ajax, though.
Right? Some people, when they have an ego, because when you're a professional athlete, you're going to have an ego.
Sure.
Some people just don't know when it's time to take a step back, right?
Sure.
Hendo couldn't come to grips with that. Maybe he regrets his decision now.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But he's the only one that's going to know that answer. But yeah, Hendo showed his colors. He clearly thought he was still good enough to be a regular starter, and he didn't want to take a diminished role, and he moved. So if we got Bellingham, I think he may have still had the same stance. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he wouldn't have, because Bellingham's a fellow Englishman, and he was pushing to get him here. But maybe he still goes. Who knows? But I don't think we would be able to sign a McAllister with getting a Bellingham. A McAllister to me is going to be very, very. We're going to need him in the long run over in the next few years, because he's still relatively young. Blessing in disguise, we didn't get Jude, to be honest.
I know, I agree. No, I agree, and the reason I say that is because I don't think I think with Jude.
What's the time mark? I'm sorry. What's the timestamp on this? Because I want to make sure.
Okay, if you want the bloody timestamp, it is. Let me get it for you, just so you can clip it. It won't tell me. Oh, wait, no. 2 hours 48 minutes. 2 hours 48 minutes. If you want to clip Bayesian saying that, but I said it as well. The reason is Jude with us would have been amazing, but we know FSG. They are not going to spend lots of money. We're going to spend money on, but that's the problem. We know they are. I know for a fact they're cheap buggers. They would have not gone for. I think
you say that when we went out and tried to spend 110 million for Caicedo.
Yeah, but I think that was due to Hendo and Fab.
No,
that was Billy Hogan though, bro. He went rogue on anyone but that one. That was Hogan all day long. But wasn't no one else. That was Hogan going in.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did it without anyone knowing and just said, "Fuck, I'm gonna get."
I would have to agree with you. I wouldn't surprise me either.
You think John W's looking at his phone like, "What the?"
I don't have 115 million to spend.
Is that why he flew over to talk to Billy?
Tell him, what the fuck are you doing with my money? Yeah. But no, seriously, I genuinely believe that clearly there was something wrong, because we spent 110 million on Caicedo, but we didn't spend anything close to that after that. I think, but then again, I think the reason after that was because we're the type of club where if our target's not available, nothing. Caicedo. But the thing is that what I don't get right, Caicedo, we wanted Caicedo in January. We didn't pursue him. We then saw that Chelsea were really in for Caicedo for a long time. Didn't get involved whatsoever. As soon as he's close to joining Chelsea, and Chelsea are being cheap buggers and not working hard, we go, oh, we're going to do that. And a lot of people were blaming the agent, but the agent clearly said in an interview he should have gone to Liverpool. Liverpool is the better decision, but we made the promise to Chelsea that he's going to be their first choice. If Chelsea bids, he goes to Chelsea. So when it happened, and I was like, oh, his agent's a twat. But looking at it now, it seems fair to me. If you make a club a promise, you should be loyal to them and build on your promise, and not be rude about it. But I do think that he did make the wrong career decision, because I don't think I think
he knows that himself, Jersey.
He knows that himself. He knows right now he'd be top of the league, and we might even be further. We might even be a bigger gap, because I think Caicedo's been shit this season, but I think it's a mixture of things. The atmosphere at Chelsea's crap. Pochettino's not helping himself. They're playing with Conor Gallagher. They're playing
Enzo Fernandez.
Fernandez.
Very overrated in my opinion.
No, he's overrated. For me, you know, I think the only reason, to be honest, it was that much amount of money was because Benfica were like, we don't want to sell him, but we'll make the price so ridiculous and not going to pay for it. And of course, Bowley doesn't know what he's doing. He's just like, whatever, pay for it now.
Here's the key factor on why Caicedo is not safe. He plays for Liverpool. McAllister helped Caicedo immensely in Brighton. And not having his running mate who covered for him a lot in Brighton anymore is now showing the holes that he has in his game. He's still a young kid. And he's got a lot of pressure on him. And that's why he's not doing very well. Until Chelsea figures out to put the right person next to Caicedo, you are going to continue to see him having up and downs for the rest of this year. And if they don't fix it next year, it will still be the same way next year. But I'm going to throw a spoke in everyone's wheel. Liverpool's playing chess. Yes, they put 110 million into Caicedo, but that was to just get Chelsea to spend a little bit more money. Because Liverpool's going to turn around this summer and take about 50 million and give it as a signing bonus to Mbappe.
Boy, that needs to happen. I want Kylian really
I thought
badly.
they were going to go different with it. I thought the 3D. I was going to think the 3D chess that they're playing is this.
FFP.
By forcing them to spend 100 and whatever million that they did for Caicedo, they're now at a position where they have to lower their evaluation for Colwill because they need money, period.
No.
So
I say 40.
They say 60, you go 40, you meet in the middle at 50, and then it's
why I say 40, 12 man is A, you got Chelsea to spend more money, right?
Yeah.
And B, there's a caveat to that. Real Madrid knew we wanted to go in very hard for Jude. They upped and spent a boatload of money for Jude, right?
Yeah.
Because Liverpool was like, Mbappe 2024. Real Madrid can't sign him in 2024 if you drop that much money on Jude. You can't do this. There's no possible way. You're going to have to get rid of some of your players to do it. Now we go in for who we really wanted. Mbappe on the left.
I genuinely believe if
That's good. I like it.
Yeah, I genuinely believe Mbappe, his family want him to go to Liverpool because his mum's a huge Liverpool fan. So
yeah,
I think it's written in the stars. The only thing I'm iffy about is FSG, but you know, I want the football gods, please let Mbappe come, please.
Imagine this, right? We're gonna get rid of Thiago at the end of the season. That's 200K a week off of the books from a salary standpoint. Don't cover your ears.
You gotta accept the facts.
I don't know how you could still be rooting for this guy. He's done, man. He's finished. It's like the movie back in the day, Old Yeller. It's time to put him out to the back of the shed.
Oh wow!
Wow!
I know people may think I'm being harsh, but
Thiago's gonna come.
Thiago is not going to come back and do anything.
He's gonna be on some messy settings. He's gonna be on
messy
level settings.
You guys need to get your head out of the
He's gonna be doing ragu style settings.
Nah, Thiago's done. He had hip surgery. The hips don't lie, bro. He's done. He's finished.
There you go.
He can't handle the Prem and the rigors of the Prem and the physicality of the Prem. It just, for his age and the amount of wear and tear he's had in his body, I'm not saying he's not a talented footballer. He's a phenomenal footballer.
I know.
But it just didn't work out. We just have to take our losses and our L and be like, Thiago would have been great, but it just didn't work out. He hasn't been available for us, and it's time to let him go. It's as simple as that. I felt the same way with Naby. Phenomenal talent. But if you cannot play for my club on a consistent basis, you got to go, man. You got to go. It's just like Ox. I felt the same way. I love Ox. You got to go, man. You have to. You can't. I was so sick of, oh, he's not available anymore. He's not available anymore. I was tired of that. I just want guys that is going to be there consistent, and I don't have to deal with injuries in game in, game out.
I get you. I just my only defense in for the Bentley here is because
Broken down Bentley.
broken down Bentley, right? Is because you know what, the typecast player that Thiago is so relevant to Klopp that he is conditioning Bajcetic in that role. He's looked for that kind of play from Maka. It's the reason why personally I think we haven't gone in really for any real destroyer, Fabinho style destroyer, world class, type DM. He recognizes the fact of what, even though he only got to drive the Bentley, for a couple of trips around the city, he knows what it's like to drive a Bentley. And when you have a Bentley, you don't want to go back. You could drive a lot of different cars. You don't want to go back. You know what I mean?
He can get better though. Now he could trade in the broken down Bentley and get a Rolls Royce Phantom now in Mbappe on the left.
Okay.
So Bentley's here, Phantom's up here.
I got you.
Oh man.
Some of us have I like Bentleys, I like Bentleys.
I
A
do.
lot of people do.
Yeah, I'm willing to put the work in it. It's like, I get it. It's just
When they break down though, you're
I get it. It's, you know what, I always tell this funny story. I went shop when I was going shopping for a car. I was looking at getting a Maserati, and like the Maserati is not an everyday car.
No.
And and yet I was going to be using this car as an everyday car. And I luckily got talked out of it because like I would have had a Maserati in my garage that's broken down that I'm like, constantly putting more money into and never getting it through.
Did you check the price of the oil change for a Maserati?
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing. My dad used to own lots of sports cars back in the day because my dad just loved having sports cars. And the problem was, once he started doing a lot more work and going into London and stuff, as you said, he started using that as a ordinary car. The problem with that is, what's the point in using a car like a Ferrari or Porsche or whatever if you're going to use it just to go to work, and it's so much more expensive when you could use and that's when he stopped spending that much money on cars, because he just thought, what's the point in spending lots of money on a car if I'm only going to use it to go to work, when I could get something like a Volkswagen Polo, even though it's not the fastest car in the world, it will do the job. I'm only going to work, or a Land Rover or a BMW, that kind of stuff. And that's the thing is, those kind of fancy cars, if you've got so much money, then of course you can use a Ferrari, a Porsche, Lamborghini, Bentley, Rolls Royce to do whatever. But when you're working all the time and going to work normally, I don't, as you said, having a Maserati or a Ferrari or something like that and using it just to go into work and parking it, what's the point when you could have a car that's like twice cheaper? You don't have to spend that much money on oil, fuel, or having specific parts replaced. And
you don't take the Bugatti to go grocery shopping.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to Bugatti just to go to a theme park. What's the point of spending a $2 million car?
We need to have a discussion. We need to have a serious discussion.
Exactly.
I got you.
And with Thiago, has he had hip replacement surgery, or has he just had something to do with his hips?
He did.
Yep.
So he's had isn't hip replacement surgery something you have when you're like 60, 70 years old? Is he secretly a grandpa or something? But that's the crazy thing about Thiago. Thiago's so saucy, but he's.
Block this out, Thiago.
But I really do think if Thiago probably even this summer, I'm hoping Thiago comes back in February and we have a period of at least 3 months where we can have the best of Thiago and use him to win the league.
But that's all I'm saying. I'm saying, you know what? If you can get to a place in like, look, I'm not at that place personally.
Yeah.
But if you could get to a place where you could have a Bentley sit in your garage and you only drive it when you want to drive it on, on those lazy Sunday afternoons or something like that, why not take it? I know everyone's done with Thiago, but I'm just like, if it's obvious that his role on this team or the position that he's holding on this team isn't blocking anyone's pathway to getting playing time. It's just not. Everyone has an equal opportunity to playing on this team. But if he becomes a luxury option, which is what I've always wanted him to be, hey, I'm willing to see if his hips lie or not.
We'll have to see.
I don't have to say a pause behind that or not.
We'll have to see. But as I said, we won't have much of Thiago, but at least if he can be that in the crucial time this season and help us win trophies, I think that's what matters.
February, man. February is when the targets February.
I will not be surprised if he has another setback. I will not be surprised with Thiago. But touch wood, don't have a setback, please.
There you go.
Don't have a setback, please. And Bajcetic, of course, he's getting built to be a proper unit when it comes back. Because we all know he's not injured. He's just being built to not be like Naby Keita and get injured every 5 seconds. He's been built to last a long time. So I'm looking forward to him because he was so good in that last season. And I really do miss him playing. So hopefully he's back soon. Last thing before we finish, I'm going to ask you each a question and ask with you, Bajan. If right now we have 100 million, let's say we've got 80 million pounds to spend for January, for the next couple of days, would you buy anyone? And if so, who would you with your budget of 80 million?
No, not buying no one.
Buying no one. What about you, 12th man? Would you buy anyone?
$80 million. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You can add that 80 million and spend it this summer.
You can do that. You can put it towards the Mbappe money, or you can use it. You can use it for January. Or you could spend on one player, you could spend on 2 players.
80 million. Jeez.
You don't have to spend the whole 80 million, by the way. You've just got a budget of 80 million. So you don't have to spend all of it.
I'll be honest with you. I am very high on I'm very, very high on the Japanese Messi. I like his play. I like what
Kubo?
Yeah.
I'm very high on Kubo. I know there's those people out there's I've gotten pushed back by like I was mentioning earlier to you, Jersey, about people were very, very intimate to tell me that I don't have any ball knowledge, but pause. But but I know that this player is a special player. I think that the Asian market is a market that's now starting to get a little bit of attention. I think the Asian market is a market that has some really talented players. I for instance, one player that I covet now, but I don't think was on anyone's real radar, was Matoma, for Brighton. I think he's a talented player. He brings pace. He brings a lot of intensity. He brings a lot of different nuances to that left side of the left wing. But he's not. He probably doesn't get the looks or the opportunities simply because the Asian market isn't really a market that gets that much really necessary or really coveted attention. So if I was going to go, I would go out there and get a right wing coverage for us. It's one of the, if not right back, right wing is one of the 2 positions on the pitch that we do obviously need coverage, considering those are 2 positions on the pitch that we have 2 of our most influential players playing. So I would go out and get a right wing.
Nice one. For me, I would. I wouldn't spend much money. I would just probably bring in Hincapi or Inacio in now. So you've got him an extra centre back, and then in some games switch Virgil and Hincapi stuff like that for like FA Cup or stuff like that, and then slowly integrate him. So I'll bring in one more centre back. That's all I will do because I don't think we really need anything, and I think maybe in the summer, as Bajan has said. We all know Al Ittihad are going to come back from Smo. They're going to come back. They're going to try again. I don't know if they're going to bid 150 million again. But I genuinely believe they will come back for Mo. They will come back for Mo. And I think they might. I ask this question now. Before we end the stream, I'll ask the Bajan first. Al Ittihad, 1st of July, £100 million bid for Salah. Are you accepting yes or no?
No.
No. 12th man.
They got to give me 150 at least.
100. Okay, I'll go 100 to 120 million.
150.
150. You say yes, 150. What about you, 12th man?
I'm saying yes to an extension for Mo Salah. I think Salah is a really important player for our team.
I want him to stay here. I want him to stay here. I don't want to sell him.
You said you gave me 80 million, so I just spent 60 of it on Kubo, who's an adventure heir to the right wing side, and that extra 20 million that gets dropped over 52 weeks in a year, right? 52 weeks, I believe, right? 52 weeks, right?
I think
52
so, yeah.
weeks divided into 20 million is 384,000. So that means I can now make any type of, additional increase to Salah's contract that I need to incentivize him to stay here. And I would do that, whether it means adding half that and having 10 million to do whatever, I would do that. I think Salah is important to our team. Do I see him as someone that we can't live without? No, we eventually will have to learn how to live without Salah. I understand that. But would I give him a 2-year extension? Yes, because guess what? A lot of these players out there are showing you what the Saudi league is, which is great. Yeah, if you're looking for it's great if you're looking for money or some cash to be, to make your life change. Absolutely. But they're quickly finding out that it is not like playing in any of the leagues. It's not like when you're in front of arenas or stands where you got a couple hundred or maybe 1,000, 2,000 people watching you. It's not the same as hearing the roar of Anfield or being in a stadium that makes you want to get up and play in that game. It makes a difference, and Salah has a lot left. I mean, I think he's got another at least 2, 3, 4 more years in him. At that, give me 2 more years of Salah. Salah could easily go. Salah could go and do what a lot of the older players have done, which is at 36, 37, 38, move on and go to the Saudi league or go.
You know what? I changed my mind. I agree with you, 12 months. Yeah,
I keep Mo. The only reason I'm asking this question is a lot of people might go yes because of the self-to-buy crap from FSG. So, but no, I will keep Mo because even though Mo's slowing down, he's still scoring. He's still top of the assists, goals scored, big chances made. Like that's ridiculous at his age. Like, he's still doing it every season. He's like he may be slowing down in terms of the eye test. You might be going Mo's crap, but stats don't lie. He might play and look bad on the pitch, but it does not matter because he's still winning us games. That's all that matters. I don't care about performance of Mo. As long as he's scoring loads of goals, assisting loads, making chances, that's what counts. I don't get the eye test stuff because he's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
I think you're right. I think it's, if anything, what's very unique about our Egyptian king here is that Salah has taken on a new persona for his game. no one was ever really saying, "Oh, Salah is an assist merchant." Okay, no one was ever saying that he's like someone that's going to give you, you know, um, crazy assists from his position. But now you're not only getting the goals, you're getting the assists as well. You know, and we've seen that whether it was last year, was it last year or the year before when he won the assist, he was tied at least for the assist leader, I believe, right? It was last year or the year before.
Yeah, I
and
think so. Yeah.
and now once again, you know, you have someone that's leading in combined GA, you know, in the league. Whether it's like, I mean, I know he's like on, what is he on, 14 goals, and I don't even know how many assists he's on. He's in the double figures when it comes to assists. It makes a difference, you know, when you have a player that is watching his game evolve to be smarter. It's the same thing I'm saying about Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk does not have to regain, quote unquote, the pace that he's had when he was 3 or 4 years ago. But one thing Salah or even VVD have done is their football IQ has increased so immensely that they're able to utilize the game to higher levels and still get peak performances from their absolute their brilliance on the pitch. I like when you have players like that, because that is a lesson that they can teach the other players around them. That's a lesson that they can show is important to have as well in the chemistry of the team as well.
Yeah.
All right, Bajan, you got any?
I'm a romantic, so you know how that goes.
All right, Bajan, you got any closing statements?
No, just looking forward to the last 18 games to the Prem season. Push for this title.
We can do it.
Carabao second leg for Fulham. Let's get to the final, win that. Hopefully we don't see Chelsea again. Hope Middlesbrough wins that game.
Pick up Middlesbrough.
I really want to see an excited game and seeing dead-ass Chelsea against us one more time.
Beat them penalty shootout for the 5th time.
Yeah.
I don't want that again. No, I don't want penalties again.
Going to goalkeepers, got to kick the balls. Yeah, I can't deal with that again. Yeah, looking forward to the last part of the season, man. I think this is going to be a special season. We're going to be happy. It's going to be fun, but it's strapping. It's going to be a ride.
It's going to be a ride.
12-man, what's your...
I'm going to enjoy Arsenal not winning no
Yes. See, Arsenal, all the talk last season, they won as many trophies as us last season. So, actually, no, we won the Community Shield. They count that, so we won the most trophies in them last season. But yeah, 12-man, any closing statements, bro?
Well, the one closing statement is, I think that, you know what, I came up with a spreadsheet that has like basically the breakdown of what we have to go against and what we should be seeing going forward. And like, you know, looking at those numbers, I really like our chances. I definitely believe in our opportunity. You know, you got to be in it to win it. You know, so many, just like you said, for Arsenal, hey, we took away their opportunity to say anything about the FA Cup, something that they covet. It's the one thing that Arteta's holding on, because that's the one major trophy that he's won in his tenure. You know, and it's allowed for him to last this long. And then like you know, if anything, you know, we're one game away from a League Cup final, a tournament that we as Liverpool supporters do own, being that that's our trophy. That's the one that we have the most wins in, so that's important. And yeah, you know, you got to recognize the fact that our cabinet of trophies, to be able to say that we are the most winning team in Europe, the most winning team in England, I should say, okay, matters to me. And that means filling up a trophy case with trophies. You got to be in it to win it. That's what we are. And hey, if we're in it, why not win them all?
Why not? Why not? Why not, man? Why not? We got to do it. You know.
And before we push out, Jersey, for you Arsenal fans, hold this.
Yeah.
1 second.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
That is so true. That is so true
That
because
was breaking the internet once again.
oh, yeah, that's so true because no matter what, Arsenal fans saying they won a trophy this season. They said they won the Community Shield, but we won the Community Shield last season. That didn't count, which means technically we won more trophies than Arsenal last season, and then we're supposed to win the league. So
Yeah.
there you
Make
go.
it make sense, right?
Yeah,
That
and
makes
I'm
sense.
looking forward to hopefully another season where Arteta does nothing. And they keep saying
Real
if
quick question.
no, go for it, man.
How many wins? So what is in the 18 games we have left? What is the record that wins us? What is our record that wins us the league?
15-1-2.
15-1-2. Okay. Set that with chess too. I like it. Okay. 15-1-2. And what will be the longest win streak that we have in that run too? By the way.
I think we got to go on at least a 12 or 13 game win streak.
Yeah.
Okay.
That could be big. And I'm just having a look. What's the maximum amount of points we can get this season? Left.
15-1-2 will put us at 91 points. I don't think anyone's going to be anywhere higher than 91 to
Yeah.
win the league. Not even City right now
Yeah.
this season.
Right.
I think we will probably. I'm gonna say Aston City will probably lose 1 or 2 more games. That's it.
Yeah.
And when I say lose those games, it might be like one of those one-off crap games where let's say. Let's say losing to Villa are a bit lower down in the league now, and we lose to Villa away because they're very good at home. Something like that. Something like that.
They're the best team in the league at home.
Something like that, or I'm trying to think, or I don't know, but I think we will drop more points. But I genuinely believe that we will drop more points, but City will do the kind of same thing. And we will stay close.
What we have to do, Jersey, and we talked about it earlier before 12th Man came on, don't draw any more games.
We can't be doing the drawing.
One more draw. We can take 2 losses. One more draw, max. No other draws. All wins. That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
So sometimes that makes me wonder. That math is interesting, but I got you. I'm not. I don't want to see any more draws either. But I mean, I'd rather have a draw than a loss. But
No, because if you have a win and a loss rather than a draw, you're ahead of the game.
Because think of it, Luton.
I still want to know how that math works.
It does. I
This is a weird-
showed Jersey because when we lost the league by 1 point to City, right?
It was the draws that
We had
killed
too
us, not
many
the
draws,
losses.
and the draws killed us. City had more losses.
No, I get the
than us.
draws.
We had
definitely.
draws.
Yeah.
City had more losses than us, one more win than us. They won the league by a point. We had more draws, way more draws.
Right.
They had more losses than draws.
Like the
Right.
Brentford game where we were 2-1 up. We were losing 1-0, then 1-1, then 2-1, then 2-2, then 3-2, then 3-3. And same with Brighton, coming back again and drawing again. That's the problem. The problem is the only time we've won the league against Man City is we were 16 to 17 points, 18 points clear. And that's the only time I'll feel confident. I am not saying, Beijing, you're wrong and we're not winning this league. But for me to be confident, it has to be like that. But I'm hoping this time it's our turn to go. We've won the league, but on the last day of the season, screw you. Who is our last game of the season, by the way?
Our last game is Wolves.
Again!
And what's the kicker? Is that now, this time around, City is coming to Anfield last part
Yeah, I know.
of the season.
That's it.
We going to Etihad.
Every time we've faced City in a title race, they've come to Anfield first, and it's been the Etihad last. This time,
second.
Etihad first. I think the only time where it was Etihad first, Anfield last was.
It's the year we won the league and they beat us when we were drunk after partying.
But I would say also is I'm trying to think. Well, no, was
Barnes
this
knows,
this?
Barnes knows because he was there doing it. He was drinking with them. He was
I
giving
th-
out-
I
he
th-
brought the
no,
rum.
I th-
Barnes brought the rum.
I think the only other time we won in a title race though was when we had no defenders. We played at the Etihad
Correct.
first and drew 1-1, and then lost to Anfield
Yes.
4-1. But we
That's right.
weren't in a title race. It's the first time in a title race of Man City where we playing Anfield seconds, and that gives us advantage. So I'm hoping that. And who did City have last game of the season?
I'll tell you right now.
I think they've got
Tell
hard.
you right now.
Ooh, Moyes got something
got
for
it.
us. It's West Ham.
They got West. There you go.
Jared Bowen, man. Jared Bowen turn up last their season and get a draw. That's what we need to see. We need to see Jared Bowen win Liverpool the league. But again, we've said that with Aston Villa, and then Villa did a...
Yeah, but that was Stevie G's fault, though.
Yeah.
That Aston
I don't
Villa.
know how why he
That
took
was-
Coutinho off. Like, Coutinho was the orchestrator. I don't
Coutinho
understand.
was cooking those men. Cooking.
And surprisingly, I think it was really the start of because that game was exactly about 10 years after the QPR game. It's kind of like a re-QPR. It was like really in the stars that it was going to be a second Aguero moment with Gundogan. So it was kind of really in the stars. But Beja, can you let the people know where they can find you and what you got planned next?
Yeah, you can catch me on being the crew on Beijing Reds TV. We've got our watch along tomorrow and reaction show tomorrow night, and then on Monday night would be the weekend review EPL show. That's where you can catch us. Big up to everyone.
Perfect. And 12th man, what you got planned this weekend? Where can they find you, bro?
They can find me at Liverpool 12th Man, or I'm on Twitter or X as well too. The Reds 12th Man on Twitter or X. But the easiest way to find me and get all my socials or whatever is going through YouTube and utilizing Liverpool 12th Man. That's where you can find me. I'll most likely be the first to drop. I'm now on the algorithm. I'm the first to pop up, so I'm officially known as the Liverpool 12th Man, which is pretty cool. And I also have tomorrow. I'm gonna be doing a preview before the game. Got a big game tomorrow. This I know I arrived a little late, but it's a game that certainly is going to be more of a concern for me than a lot of people are putting it out as. This is not a walkover game.
No. Bournemouth are second best team in the league on form, other than us.
Exactly. In current form, they're well to do. They have a good coach. They have and it's away. So these are all factors that we have to consider, but they're all factors that if we want to be champions, we want to be, the title winners, we have to overcome them. So of course, I want to back our team. And I'm hoping for the best. And tomorrow, let's hope that we get it. So if you want a preview, I'll provide a preview an hour. I'm gonna have a preview. 2 hours before the game is when I'll have the preview, and then I do a live update. And then if I'm fortunate, I'll partake in someone's reaction style thing on the day of, and then I have my own reaction the day after.
Perfect. Yeah, so on World of Football, we got watch along tomorrow, and then I will be on Footy Judge Mo to do the reaction, and then probably do our own reaction back afterwards. But as you said, this will probably be my last Liverpool watch along before I maybe hopefully go full time with Kopish. But the big thing is about this game, I think, is in the FA Cup, we struggled badly against them away. Like, they were all over us and we were really, really struggling. But then again, we had a rotated side. I think what's important tomorrow is we've got to show the rest of the league that even if Arsenal won 5-0, we're still we're taking it one game at a time. We beat Bournemouth, we keep the 5-point gap going. 5 points gap ahead of City, but City having the game ahead against Brentford or Sheffield. And we just keep going. And the next game after that in the league, of course, is Chelsea. But we focus on Fulham game. Is it Norwich or Fulham first?
Norwich. Hold on.
Fulham's 24th.
Fulham is first.
Okay,
is
so
Wednesday,
Fulham on
Norwich
Wednesday.
on
So
Sunday.
we get in the final on Fulham, and then hopefully, and then we can invest a few players against Norwich and then go and fresh against Chelsea and show Chelsea what's up, hopefully.
Exactly.
And show them that Enzo and Caicedo are overrated and Enzo's the real deal. Endo's the real deal, hopefully. But no, thank you both for coming on, and I really do hope I can get you on more, guys. More. I'm gonna try and do this transfer latest show for the whole of January, maybe once or twice a week, because there's not enough news to be doing a video every single day. There's really no rumours going on. So today is a single day, and then I might do a Liverpool podcast, and I'm starting to do if I do go full time with Kopish, and I don't need to watch longs anymore near to help with them design wise. I will probably just do previews and post match shows. And I would love to have you guys on if you guys are free, and I'll try and schedule them to be at a time where everyone's.
Just let us know, bro. Yeah,
and if both of you, if you both need someone extra, I'm happy to fill in at any time. You just message me, and I'm happy to be part.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Appreciate that, Jersey boy.
But guys, make sure to subscribe to Bayesian Reds and the Liverpool 12th man. And we'll see you guys very, very, very soon. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, big up everyone. Peace.